Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. After a very, very long season of the Unstoppable Women's League, we are here for the grand finals. My name is Blue Panda. Joining me on the mic is Cthulhu, of course. And mate, look, we're getting into it. Bliss taking on Big Brain Esports. The culmination of a season of a lot of hard work for these two teams.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, both the teams been absolutely grinding away at getting those top points on in the bracket, and I mean, for BBE, this has been a big breakthrough season as well. Given that, the few previous iterations of the roster from the previous seasons did have a few struggles a fair few times during the previous seasons. This one is at their absolute best performance at the moment.
Well, look, let's take a look once more at how we found ourselves here, looking at the format of the league this season. It was all pretty exciting stuff throughout, and the fact that we finally made our way to this grand final. We started off with 8 teams, of course. By the end of the group stage, 7 weeks, a double round robin, 8 best of ones per week. We then made ourselves into the top 4, going into the semi-finals. We now find ourselves here with the winner of those 2 semi-finals coming into the grand finals, of course. And the loser of this match, obviously second winner takes first, and our third, fourth place match will be happening tomorrow night. But I mean, Cthulhu, what a long run we've had, and given the teams that we started off with, maybe a little bit of an upset coming into the semi-finals.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, there was definitely quite a fair few eyes set on teams like Fury as well to make it into the playoffs. Unfortunately, things really didn't align. Benchwarmers and the RDC roster had a fairly good shot at it as well. VA, though, definitely has impressed me overall. But look, I gotta say, this season, I mean, we were saying this basically for each and every previous season as well. This one definitely seen quite a fair bit of growth in quite a number of teams as well. Obviously, we still have the big sort of the final boss in terms of Team Bliss, who are yet to find an L on any of the maps, I believe. But all of the other teams has pushed as hard as they can and really managed to get quite a fair bit of performance out of themselves.
And of course, it is not just for bragging rights. They are here for a reason. There is money on the line. The prize pool in total here for Season 8 is a pretty substantial one, much the same as last season as well. $3,000 total, with first place walking away with a cool 50% of it, $1,500. Second place getting $1,000, third getting $500, and fourth, of course, getting themselves some R6 credits. So everyone that made it into the playoffs is at least walking away with something.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, already, if you do make it into the playoffs, that's basically all good, and well, you do get yourself at least some form of goodies to roll with, despite some of the possible shortcomings. But yeah, look, absolutely, this is an absolutely perfect opportunity for everyone to get their learnings as well in, because I mean, with general season being the BL1, now moving into the BL3s, this is a really good opportunity to study up and get some good experience in terms of the BL3, the endurance, the ability to even just reset yourself after each one of the maps. And so quite a fair few learning points could be extracted out of the playoffs this season.
And of course, let's have a look at the bracket where we currently find ourselves in that championship stretch. Coming into this grand final, started with 4 teams. Obviously, Bliss picking up the win over Radical Rebels. Viking Army, unfortunately, falling there to Big Brain Esports to go us, our 2 grand finalists. Bliss looking good this season, Cthulhu. They have looked nigh untouchable coming into this matchup. I mean, you got to hope that Big Brain have lived up to their name and they've done some homework.
Yeah, absolutely. For Big Brain Esports, even though they did manage to make it into the grand finals, this is, the big challenge for themselves here to, go against Team Bliss. A roster that, managed to make quite the name within the scene. Plus, for Big Brain Esports, I mean, we've been talking about them for basically the whole season, given that they've had that sort of consistent top 2, top 3 run for majority of it. So it was definitely a very pleasant, I want to say surprise, but at the same time, given the fact that all of these players were playing for quite a while, it was more so just that finally Big Brain Esports and that roster as it is managed to finally bloom.
That's exactly it. Why waste any more time? Let's get into the grand final itself. Our matchup for this evening, Bliss taking on Big Brain Esports. And it is a rather spectacular match to behold as well. I mean, Bliss, like you said, they've come through the season, made an absolute mark for themselves. Big Brain, not that far behind them in the grand scheme. But you've also got to remember, Bliss as well, having made their amateur, debut over the last couple of weeks. They've been playing other competitions as well as this unit. So they're getting plenty of experience at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely curious to see how would that also possibly could dedicate itself to the how the team could really improve if there could be any bigger sort of growth for Team Bliss as well, and certainly something that I would be quite curious to see how just the general sort of trend when teams out of Women's League would start branching out as well to participate in something like the LPL Amateur as well. To sort of better their craft, which could also, improve the general sort of state of the scene as well. But look, quite excited to see, because this is going to be a really good ground for Team Bliss to test some of their new learnings here as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously taking a lead from their coach, KT, having played in the Oceanic Challenger League under Altered Zalios now, is trying to make sure that her team going into the future is one of the top contenders, regardless of where they find themselves. But let's get on to our teams, of course. Up first, it will be Team Bliss, coming hot off the back of, a great season so far. They're looking strong. They've played some spectacular Siege as of late. And not to mention, some of the best merch in the competition as well. No bias, no shill, nothing. But it's Aussie Princess, Cass, Soy, Sav, Time for Pie. And they've got KT, the coach, and Super Sub, Beans and Mons there as well, backing her up. But I mean, again, you look at the numbers, just how much Siege these girls have played in the competition. I mean, Aussie Princess, an absolute veteran of the Women's League here in ANZ. Sav, Soy, Time for Pie as well. Cass, I mean, it's just all five of them have had so much experience, not to mention the experience that's added. I mean, this is probably one of the longest running in terms of competitive experience teams in the Women's League right now.
Absolutely, yeah. The fact that they already played with each other for quite a while, know how each other plays, plus, I mean, the general sort of chemistry does absolutely help in terms of just the general team coordination, so certainly would assist them. But on the other hand, I mean, Big Brain Esports, I rostered that, went through quite a fair bit of a glow-up themselves. It's a team that could definitely still show us some good game. I mean, we kick it off with the subs. I mean, the now worldwide known Repel, aka Daughter on Air, Mandy, Bernabe, and Serenity as well, being the coaches. On the sub bench, Coach Webrar as well, and then Cheese Bandit and Chloe, Buttfeed, Fish Noodle, and Yoshi as well. So we'll roster that, whilst they kind of, for the most of it during some of the other seasons, ended up staying a little bit out of the limelight. This one has definitely allowed them to shine very thoroughly.
I mean, technically, the roster in the competition with the most international experience as well, if you want to count Daughter on Air going to the Berlin Major. So probably one of the farthest reaching Women's League players here in ANZ. But yeah, I mean, you look at the likes of Buttfeed coming in this competition. She's been an absolute demon when it comes to the fragging department. Has caused, single-handedly a number of upsets on her own. And then you look at the rest of the roster backing her up. There is some mighty skills, some mighty power coming into this matchup. But, I mean, the big question has to be, where are we going? Where is this grand final going to be played out? Because that could be hugely impactful. In fact, it always is. So going into the map, Vito's Cthulhu, what are you expecting? Are we getting anything crazy, do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, I reckon we could see some source. I mean, with Oregon being kind of the big ground that quite a lot of teams would really want to go to as like their comfort ground, that I would imagine to be banned out purely for the fact that obviously for Bliss, they enjoyers of spicing things up. There it is as well, Oregon being banned out in the later stages. But yeah, Themepark and the Chalet are being the two big picks, and then Bank, should we need it as a decider, definitely will make it for quite a spicy grand final.
Clubhouse in Oregon banned out. Pardon my language, Alex, but shit maps. I'm glad they're gone. We don't have to deal with that nonsense anymore. We get some fun. We get some spice. Themepark, Chalet, Bank. I mean, this is an exciting lineup of maps. Themepark, you get to show just how capable your defense is, how expansively you can play that roam game. And then on the attack, you get to show how good you are on the lurk and clearing out those roamers. So there is a lot of exciting stuff that we will get out of this trio of maps, but the Decider Bank, that one is where things, I mean, that could be the ultimate culmination of the season, getting to see what these girls are prep coming into a map like Bank. So, look, it gives us that well-rounded showcase. And I think Big Brain Esports may have pulled out their trump card here. Picking a map like Themepark could be just what they need to unsettle Bliss.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. With Themepark being so rarely played, this is actually a perfect opportunity for them to get the early momentum in their way very, very quickly. And on top of that, I mean, Chalet, whilst, yes, it's slowly starting to turn into sort of a regular appearance in terms of similar to something like Clubhouse or Oregon or Cafe, it is still introducing quite a fair bit of flexibility. I still reckon, at least personally, that the map is still yet to be fully, uncovered in terms of its own potential. But it should be still a really good one. Plus, I mean, with the fact that Chalet, generally speaking, boasts one of the higher attacker win rates as well, this should provide us with a really, really good, general sort of understanding of how things could really go. And then, yeah, like you said, Bank, sort of a really good middle ground for both of the teams to really play it out on.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what both teams are bringing us in Big Brain. I mean, the big name that you're talking about coming into a map like Themepark, but her ability to play that roam game, playing the Jaeger. I mean, you just chuck her.
Yes.
She chucks down a utility. She goes, plays off-site, goes, sits in some random corner. I mean, you're looking at like lockers. A lockers hold from someone like Butttheed flanking in on an armory thrown defense later in the round could do some big damage. So, I mean, look, there's a lot of potential. Honestly, I would be excited to see her bring a bit of Oryx maybe into the fold as well, given some of those key hatches that you see played around the maps. Look, I hope that their homework extends that deep, so we do get a little bit of the spice, a little bit of the funk. But I mean, again, you're coming into a grand finals against Team Bliss, so I think the likelihood is we're probably going to take it back to basics. They're going to play the game that they're comfortable with. They're going to play the smart one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for BBE, they would want to, make sure that they are doing their sort of due diligence in terms of how they play, not overextend too much or go something too experimental. Obviously, I wouldn't still exclude the fact that we could see 1 or 2 rounds, just trying to break the sort of the general mold of the momentum of the play. But in general sort of terms, yeah, I'm definitely expecting a little bit more of a sort of a standardized by the books siege from BBE. On the side of Bliss, look, we could possibly see a little bit of, occasional tomfoolery for the sake of it. But I still reckon for Bliss, obviously, with their sort of run going the way how it is, they would want to go all out a little bit more serious, purely for the fact to just keep the unstoppable streak going.
Yeah, apparently there's been a bit of, building up of the emotion from the Bliss girls in Discord all day. The digital equivalent of smacking your football helmets together to try and hype yourself up. So a bit of smack talk. You love to see it. You love that energy coming into a grand finals like this. But I think the favourites coming into this would be Bliss. The onus is on Big Brain to be the ones to upset today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is... absolutely the match for an upset. And despite, how much we both hype up both of the teams, yeah, I think going into this matchup, general sort of consensus is that Bliss sort of are the favorites going into this one. But, I mean, there's a reason why BBE managed to make it into the grand finals, and they've been, on top of their game. They've been performing as much as they can, as long as they don't really get too over their heads in terms of, we're starting to win, we're starting to, get our own momentum and then get into their own heads. Then they should be, for the most of it, in the clear, and it will, for the most of it, then depend on their own sort of mechanical skill against Bliss players.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, things are taking a little bit longer than we would like. So we are going to start to a quick break. While that's getting sorted, you guys chill out. We'll be back with some hot theme park action in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We've got our 10th player in the lobby. Cthulhu going to be jumping into a bit of cheeky theme park here to kick the grand finals of Season 8 off here in the Popsugar Unstoppable Women's League. Brain Esports. It is going to be Burner Bear stepping in for Buttfeed, who unfortunately has gone AWOL.
Yeah, rather unfortunate. What turns out, assuming that it is due to the technical issues, and hopefully those will get resolved for the future. But yeah, look, bit of a rough start already from the get-go. Given that for Big Brain Esports, they would have wanted to have full core player roster to take on Team Bliss, but alas, it is what it is. We shall be seeing the rather well. Maybe this could prompt actually Big Brain Esports to go for a bit more unconventional sort of warfare, or some more unconventional plays. So we'll have to see how will that really work out for them. But I mean, looking at the ban phase so far, nothing really stands out a whole lot apart from, well, maybe the Jackal ban. That is the usuals, or usually mainly really appears for some of the off maps. But yeah, with the fact that now, you know, the new season came around, with Finka now nerfed beyond all recognition, with LMG's meta being gone, and thank God that it's gone, we now get to have a little bit more spice. I mean, the Zephyr AK is back into the general swing of things. Ash even now more viable even with the R4C if you're able to control the occasional jitter on that gun. So yeah, look, I'm very much keen and excited. Plus, on top of that, I mean, the impact EMPs are in the play as well.
Yeah, indeed. From what I've been told, Jaeger is he's no slouch either. He's definitely seen a bit more success in terms of gun control, but you look at the lineups on the defense, it will be that office initiation start. They bring the Azami. We also see the Alibi and the Aruni as well. So there's a lot of layers here that Big Brain will need to clear out. You can see Chloe currently hovering the Monty. Whether or not this one sticks, I mean, especially paired with the likes of a Gridlock or Alive, there's a lot of security on the flanks, and that shield could go to work.
Issue Monty also has the impact EMPs as well, so would be basically a replacement Thatcher sort of pick, given that Thatcher has been out. And yeah, there we go. The impact, the EMPs are there in the hands of Chloe. So yeah, definitely an interesting lineup. Given I would have imagined that Chloe would have been the one to actually pick something of more of a frag style wise, but it should still be a really solid lineup here to play. So for the time being, I have to wait and see if there's anything that will come off it. But on the side of the Bliss lineup, I mean, the introduction of Azami once again, plus the Mute, plus the Alibi, plus Aruni and the Jaeger. So we are looking at a very agile lineup.
Most definitely. Drone's going in already looking for info, but it's being shut down. Cass going to be first to meet the push from Team Bliss. You look at it, the Kiva barricade's already in hand. Another drone get out. Oh no, Chloe! That's your shins exposed. So that is the power of these Kiva barricades. It's on a door like Cash. Being able to play the foot angles here is dangerous if Big Brain don't adapt and deal with what Bliss is bringing.
Absolutely, yeah, this could get rather dangerous here for just any sort of plays that could really be coming out, which could be rather problematic already. Full push is happening, but a little bit of a stall out, gotta say, from Big Brain Esports on the attack, with the Kiba barriers being, well, the ones to actually hold things off. Time for Pi already gets the better of Yoshi as well, so things are starting to thin out. That's the bigger entry out of the equation, and that's your presence on the ground floor as well, with no reinforcements. It was basically bound to fall.
I mean, that was also a lot of your offside setup, trying to enable this push on by pinching in from the back. Chloe finally in, but at what cost currently? There's so much now to be dealt with. Cass swinging aggressively, but it's going to be a trade, and ultimately, I think that still favors Bliss here on the defense. Fish Noodle off the board, no more EE1Ds remaining, and the Saria Gate again gets reset. The one boon that is enabled here for Big Brain is the fact that Burner can get in and start setting up this flank watch.
Yeah, well, this could get rather dire, what it's worth here for BBE in that first round, albeit nothing too dangerous just yet, more so just trying to get some traction going for themselves. Themepark already on her own sort of crusade here, getting the better of yet another player. Sav gets the frag, Soy is the one that fell slow at the end. Yeah, look, I gotta say, things definitely could have gone a whole lot smoother, but unfortunately, yeah, just that stall out in the entry into the cash room didn't particularly net a whole lot of success. We could possibly see BBE to switch the strategy around, try to maybe go for a bottom to top down push, and from there on, basically Bob's your uncle.
I mean, I can understand the setup. You can appreciate why Big Brain attempted it, but unfortunately, yeah, I think you were right. Nail on the head. The stall out outside of cash was what ultimately sealed the deal in that round. Maybe if they'd pivoted a little bit earlier, if they'd made a play off of where Yoshi was entering into the building, they could have found some traction. But unfortunately, yeah, no, just too much time spent, too many resources lost at the minimal return. They got on the Bliss, now they hit down the armory and drone room. You're looking at a setup where you are going to need to be able to play around that utility, get these walls open, but they're bringing Holt in the hands of Themepark. That's a massive amount of information potential that Bliss are going to have on this push.
Absolutely.
10 seconds to go.
See how the rest of the matchup will really unveil.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Right now, for Team Bliss,
Attacker's objective
they
is to
could
defuse a bomb.
throw in quite a few very nasty surprises with Themepark now introducing the pulse into the play. Any sort of vertical approach could be halted in a matter of seconds with that C4 from below.
That plus the follow-up Nitro that is in the hands of Soy, they can look to play off the info, and that's, I mean, it's really the power of a Pulse, of course, having a follow-up Nitro in the hands of a teammate to be able to coordinate off the scanner. So it's something that Big Brain will have to be wary of. They do have, though, the OSA in play in the Talon Shield, so, I mean, if they can get some decent positioning, if they can look to set themselves up on a door and make them play off of those shields, I mean, that could open things up quite wide.
Probably. Curious to see that Themepark actually elected to not really roam around a whole lot. So we could be seeing a little bit more kind of just back to the baseline. C4 Makobi through the breach hole could be another interesting way to play it out. But so far for Big Brain Esports, similar unfortunate sort of plague really happens. They're still struggling to find, you know, the entry point. It's already minute 47. And they're looking to make an entry. Initially attempted to make the push towards the barrels, but obviously with the setup that has been introduced by Bliss, look, feeling a little bit maybe hesitant about their approach. So instead we could be seeing a slightly different play. This time a push through the cafeteria. So far nobody is there yet. So by terms of momentum, we could be seeing something slightly more different. Maybe not a full-on just a C4 play from below, which should provide at least a safer entry for players like Fishnoodle who are trying to spearhead the push.
That's definitely it right now. Getting a bit of information, they will have the opportunity to open up at least that hatch into connector, so they could potentially even go for a sudden drop play with the OSA shields, look to try and set themselves up onto the site, but here we go, Impact EMP comes out from Chloe, they will look to blow things up, but unfortunately it's the return from Team Bliss. That Nitro cell has come out from Themepark. Selma charge is coming through, but they're dealing some big damage. And there you go, Aussie on from the flank in lab right now. Is well and truly distracting. And you look at the damage that's being dished out already, Cthulhu. This is a deadly spot for Big Brain to find themselves in.
Yeah, very unfortunate position given that Chloe already once again fell as well. But this time in the earlier stages, fortunately not providing the shields could be rather problematic, as well as establishing the very solid foothold. With 17 seconds to go, they have to push.
15 seconds to go.
And they are going to do what they can, but the meat grinder is there waiting for them. Yoshi left alone, and she's got about as many bullets as health currently, and it will be Soy aggressively swinging, shutting it down. 2 very big rounds to start this map off for Team Bliss, who are looking to secure the grand finals and the victory here to claim Season 8.
And things are certainly starting to ramp up here. Well, Big Brain Esports, they trying to find the sort of the winning formula here for them against Team Bliss, but as it stands, the fact that it's a continuous sort of rotation, nothing too concrete in terms of just the consistent picks for the defense of Team Bliss, it makes it a little bit more difficult, it seems, for Big Brain Esports to find that right sort of groundwork to really work around. So, occasionally switching around, now introducing the Nook as well. So it seems like it's mainly Chloe who is sort of the experimental element of BBE roster, at least in terms of this very matchup. But I reckon they are going into the right sort of position, because an all-out, all-together push is all great, but if you're getting stuck on that one sort of choke point, maybe looking into a bit of a flank play, a little bit of that sort of solo play, maybe a duo play to go for those flank rounds could be great. But the one issue that has been sort of or has been risen back in round 1,
5 seconds left before insertion.
maybe he tried to do it, but before it was with Ash. And unfortunately, Ash did get caught out on that early part of that flank around. So here for Chloe, I'm curious how would she be able to make it work with the Nook?
Yeah, I mean, Chloe historically struggles on the attack, but I mean, once we see Big Brain hit her in defense, she's one of the most potent sight anchors in the competition. So I think, yeah, it's not necessarily a matter of coming out of the gate explosively and trying to take every single round you can here to start the impact off. It's just surviving until the second half. Play to your strengths, look to go into the defense and really solidify yourselves there, because, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, I mean, as has been the case for, I think, the entire team, their defense is just better.
It's certainly looking pretty good, but so is the aim official. That was a crisp shot onto Time for Pie, shutting down the general sort of crusade that the defensive player has been going on for the past few rounds. This time it's looking a lot more convincing from Big Brain Esports, as now the cafeteria has been established pretty well. Fictional now gets the better of Savage, while Team still being ripped but not yet full set. And funnily enough, not really intending to open up the door. I say that, though Soy does open up the scoreline in favor of Team Bliss yet again.
Soy fish noodles, gross food, massive players here in the Women's League. But right now, the opportunity is there to get Aussie Princess back into the fold and make this a 3 versus 4, which is well and truly doable territory for Bliss currently. Things coming in, the drones there should reveal, and the nade! Oh, just out of reach of either of the players. Aussie will still be in this, and the rotate back through Picass. About to meet someone out in that arcade balcony. The follow-up nade is enough to finish Picass. Will get the trade. 3 versus 2, make that a 2 versus 2. The team kill on to burn there as Soy capitalizes. It's Yoshi, unfortunately, to 4, leaving Chloe alone here to clutch up the situation. Does have that FMG9, but you look at it, 50 seconds remaining. There is utility between her and the sight pings come out, but Cass locks it down. And it is going to be the flawless rotation of Science Cthulhu, and that one is going to leave a mark.
Yeah, that one going to be a rather frustrating one to lose out, given that this was one of the first few rounds that BBE had a really good chance to get the ball rolling. But look, still, gotta give it to Big Brain Esports, despite the fact that it's still a 3-0 scoreline. They managed to really push the envelope on that one, so certainly it seems like the general sort of formula has been discovered here finally by Chloe and co. Now it's just more so all about the polish.
Attackers need to
certainly
locate
would seem
and
like
defuse
round 4 is going to be applying that very case, as I reckon actually for this site the Nook would be a much more beneficial pick, purely for the fact that it sort of allows you to have a little bit more flexibility with the way where you go for those flanks. You can obviously take the yellow stairs and go through the daycare, and you have the ability to catch off a number of the rotations off guard, or you could go through the dragon play and help sort of isolate the cash position of the defenders. So there's a few opportunities here, but they need to be taken in the early stages of the round before Team Bliss do manage to, you know, hunker down.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, that one could be a bit of a chalker for Big Brain, especially off the back of a team kill. That's certainly not going to help, so hopefully they can reboot the mental just a little bit. Coming here into the 4th round, looking to undo the past couple, but you look at Soy, 5-0-1 currently, the only player deathless so far here on the map, has been having a massive game so far with some big kills. Not to mention that last round, having the wherewithal to get Aussie back in, avoid the nade, and go and pick up some kills off the back of it.
Probably ready. Some early openings. Try to get BBE rolling, but slow down given that they can't really find that opening for themselves. Haven't yet really got to see the full usage of the EMPs as well, which could have been quite beneficial to just quickly get the info in and bail out, but Chloe so far looking to find her own openings from down below, but no real concrete info means that, well, it's all about a waiting game, and for Yoshi, she might just be able to find one or two frags, or in quite the opposite actually, to find some damage onto herself.
The swing from Aussie though, onto one, make that two. The lineup this time for Pi knocks the third down. Unfortunately, that's Cheese and Burnabear to hold on. They didn't have the info, and what was a spectacular flank there from Aussie, capitalizing on the lack of information from Big Brain Esports. Has well and truly gutted this push. It is looking like it will be a massive fourth round here in a row for Team Bliss. Pushing up Cheese. Finds Aussie once again, gets some damage off, keeps the majority of her health, so could look to maybe make a playoff.
And Cheese has the perfect weapon for that very case as well. C4 has been dropped, but only by the doorway to try to reclaim. Actually, Amplify is able to do that. Amplify fails on the second time. Can she find a third one? Third time's the charm. No misses on that one as well. Then downs herself phenomenally, but I mean, there's still Soy to, you know, clean up the mess, but that was, yeah, that was something.
It was a round, and one that was won in the end of some massive plays. I mean, Aussie, that flank from control room was absolutely huge. And Bliss are looking to do this in record time here on Themepark. Probably the most one-sided map we've seen so far in the playoffs. And Big Brain, I mean, what are you going to do here to change that momentum? Just slow it down. The last 2 rounds and a half you desperately need.
Yeah, making it a 4-2 would be a necessity now for BBE if they want to have any good, strong chance at getting themselves on the board, getting themselves possibly even a map out away from Team Bliss. But certainly things could get rather problematic from here on out. Already a 4 rounds differential does already, as it is, put quite a fair bit of the pressure onto the team, so I would imagine that things could get rather problematic in the later stages of the match. Seeing though as how it seems like just Team Bliss, they able to just kind of almost be like roaches, just kind of just plug up one hole, scroll out of another one, and just get to fragging. So things certainly have been rather problematic for BBE to establish a sort of a solid concrete position. But with Themepark as well, it is such a tricky map as well, because the positions where you can establish those footholds, there's so much breachable floor that the play from down below with a C4 is almost begs to happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, those opportunities just seem to have presented themselves to Bliss that little bit more here today. Still early though, still a best of 3. There's every possibility that we see this one go far deeper than just the 2 matches. Big Brain needs to start here though.
Big Brain absolutely will need this round to even just give themselves maybe even reset in terms of just mental game, given that quite a fair few unfortunate turnouts really happened to them in the past few rounds. But still though, it has been quite a valiant effort. Now in goes the very quick, very accelerated push, realizing that they can't really be stalling out, they can't go for a slow methodical approach, they just need to full send it, and exactly that's what they do. And now establishing a really good position where they can't really be breached from down below as well, either with the plastic explosive. So this is a good progression here from BB.
Unfortunately, they didn't keep moving. Unfortunately, the only thing moving is Fish Noodle to the drones. Currently followed up by Yoshi, who's not far behind. And it's that info game that has been so potent. You look at Nitro Cell placed and ready. Time for... I don't know whose that is. It could be Time for Pies, it could be Soy. Speaking of Soy, still deathless here in the first half.
Yeah, Soy has been quite sturdy on her play, being able to keep it up in a rather consistent manner, while staying for the majority of it out of the harm's way. Chloe does get herself on the board in terms of this round, but unfortunately downed very, very quickly. Aussie holds her position pretty well. 2v4 will be making things a little bit more problematic, and by a little, I mean a whole lot more problematic for BBE to try to take a firmer control over this play. But we've seen, you know, Team Bliss trip up on a couple of plays, you know, get a little bit flustered maybe on a few swings, but the drop down into the barrels should ensure a little bit more possibilities for the long-range engagement, as Benabet does struggle a little bit with trying to get the better of Cass, and as it stands, Cass is the one to put the end to the round.
Was unfortunate.
Disgusting.
Absolutely fried. Like,
yep.
That is something that's definitely going into the fractage at the end of the season. I can guarantee you that much. But 5-0, unfortunately, Soy not going to remain deathless. The caster curse has worked. Big Brain, you have my PayPal details. Hook it up. You know what the go is. But right now, we are looking down the barrel of a flawless half here for Team Bliss. They could shut this map down. Remember, Big Brain Esports map pick could be shut down flawlessly here.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
If that does happen, it would be a rather heartbreaking turnout for Themepark, given that it is their map pick. So, I mean, we got to see quite a few really cool attempts at the plays. It's just, yeah, things didn't really happen as they wanted to happen and as it was planned to be. Still gotta give all the kudos to BBE for doing their best, for trying to, you know, change their playstyle around, which has been kind of a big, you know, talking point when we do get to see, you know, teams starting to experiment a little bit more during the match, starting to try to change things around. This is where we get to see them progressing, them developing and evolving as well. So despite, you know, the scoreline, I definitely have to say that BBE has been a great time, even just in terms of just general learning here, and say this ends up being a relatively dominant sort of performance from Team Bliss. Regardless of that, I mean, second place is nothing to stop at either.
No, it isn't, especially given how stacked the competition is. I mean, Bliss, this roster, these players have been some of the most, well, part of the most dominant teams in Women's League history at one point or another. And this culmination of what is now definitely, easily the most dominant roster has been put in the hard yards. Like I said, playing amateur as well. So, I mean, even a loss here, there's no real disappointment, I think. The Big Brain should be taken away from it, given how much the odds are stacked against it.
Absolutely so. Well, the game and the round is not yet over, so we could see some absolutely borderline magical things to really start happening. Time for Pi. Had a bit of a quieter turnout ever since the conclusion of the round 2, so looking to try to maybe remedy herself here, but looking to get a little bit extra aggressive by the window. Fish Noodle, though, a little bit cautious about where she pushes in. C4 play from down below could really still come around, which would be rather problematic. Aussie, though, instead does get the better of Chloe, and quite a few taps do go Fish Noodle's ways.
Push on through, Bliss again. Absolutely monstering them out of this matchup. They lose one in the form of Cass, but it is the one, the only, the cheese bender left to resist. Unfortunately, naught can be done in the face of such overwhelming odds to Tulu. A sweep half, a 6-0 as Bliss head onto the attack for it to go to overtime. Bare minimum 6 rounds in a row in response from Big Brain.
Yeah, Big Brain will need to pull out quite a huge, almost gargantuan effort here. Which, I mean, is never impossible, but certainly would be quite a difficult run here to happen. So we certainly could be looking for, keeping an eye out for quite a thorough turnout, if that happens. But again,
Defenders, protect your
it's
bombs.
looking rather grim. This time though for BB, they are looking to switch things around, given that the first half did conclude we do get to see them on the defense, so we could possibly see at least a few rounds to come out from them on the defense, with the defensive side being a little bit more comfortable usually for quite a number of teams, seeing as you don't generally have to dictate the initial sort of pacing of the round, where you can just wait for the attackers to come your way, and you can play a little bit more passively as well. So
Attackers have located
could
a
be
bomb.
quite beneficial here for BBE, but again, starting the second half off with the fact that you can't really lose any of the rounds if you really want to try to contest still the map, would still provide quite a heavy weight on the shoulders.
Indeed. I mean, look, the crazy thing is, Soy 7-1 currently. And I mean, you think one of the best KDs we've ever had in the region in Rainbow Six Esports was a tie between Tiltec and Luna of Kraken. Luna, who, you know, one of the most successful female players in the region. 7.0 KD. If Soy ends the map with one more KD, she beats that. Or one more kill.
Big. Could be huge here, which I'm definitely looking out for. I'm looking forward to if that happens here. So I could certainly make it work rather nicely if she's able to stay, well, deathless for the remainder of the matchup. Or at least, well, just only with staying with that one death. And C4 does come around. Only takes out the replicator. So, for the time being, staying nice and safe. Seems to be the case. But Soy is already in, looking to push further into the hallway.
One more kill, then she can head outside. Her job done. Honestly, just play for the KD at this point. An 8-0, well, 8.1, or 8 would be a stunner of a number to put up right now. Oh, tap onto the shoulder there at Cass. Long range angle from Fish Noodle, almost finding its mark. That could have been huge. But the slowdown once again, the big difference being that Team Bliss have given themselves still a lot of time to make it work. Aussie Princess, the first to fall in the round though.
Aussie now out of the equation. That's the big flanking potential now out of the equation. There's still Stoy, there's still Cass to keep on pushing the envelope. Cass does fall. And on the 3v5, things could get rather problematic. Soy can't really find the target of her own, which does prompt her to try to fall back here. Now between Sav and Time for Pi, they have to make it work, but Time for Pi not really looking particularly too hot with barely a whole lot of HP, a few shots here, and she's down indeed. She will be unfortunate for Time for Pi. 2v5 with 53 seconds remaining. Certainly looking rather problematic, and indeed they are. Now it's all down to Sav to make it work.
There goes the caster's curse again. No more KD for Soy. It's cut in half. Only the measly 3.5. We are going to see that M762 back in with the latest update in terms of the recoil. Sav going to try and make it work with Chloe swings. Big brain. Start the march on to overtime. They've only got 5 to go to get there.
Off to a good start, I suppose, on the first half. Certainly a very, very convincing turnout in the first round of the second half. So definitely liking what I'm seeing here from BBE. But yeah, you are correct. 5 more rounds to do it, and I mean, at this pace, if they can repeat literally the same result as they did just before, by all means, I'm very much keen and looking forward to that.
Indeed, indeed. Second round of the half.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
That's a
defused by
lot of
attackers.
lives that Bliss currently have to play around with. And we do have today here in the bump, obviously. Second, this, I mean, it's a bold move, unfortunately, I think, for Big Brain, given that, I mean, you talk about favoured sites on this map, and I think there are a number of teams who would have opted into throwing Armory next.
I mean, yeah, Armory certainly would be a good site to really play around. It does offer quite a fair bit of hunker down gameplay because not a whole lot of space around the actual site. It really provides a lot of vertical gameplay either, so you could really lock it all down, allow yourself to get a almost, well, not a free win, but it would certainly increase the chances of the possible win here. But regardless of that, I'm liking still the setup that BBE are looking to bring out. The introduction of Echo as well, whilst I'm a little bit 50-50 on it, given that it would theoretically take out one of the guns out of the, you know, the active gunfights, it would still provide a lot of information gathering and a lot of sort of late game gameplay for BBE.
You can stop worrying about grenades now.
Yeah, most definitely. But I mean, unfortunately, the Echo, he's not having the greatest of games right now in the process of getting goofed. Hopefully, she can get at least one before the map closes out. Want to come into map 2 strong, but Aussie already punching through into workshop, looking to get some info early on. And I mean, that's a deep cut with a Nook as well. That gets scary if Big Brain can't figure out that she's in the building.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful part about Nook as well. The ability to that borderline inconspicuously just enter the building and just nearly have, well, no detection at all, at least in the early stages, apart from, you know, the sound cue of breaking down a door. But even then, by that time, you're probably already far too late. Already a double push entry, Sophia and a Sledge, right by the initiation room.
Things coming through. They've got huge info, and that's the rear gate will be burnt. What a shot from Soy!
Jeez.
Absolutely fuming about the loss. KD rips Yoshi's head off. And that could be the opening they need to get in on the side. But there is Cheese now picking up the position. Fish Noodle answers back, so does Burnabout. On for the flank, on for the pinch. And this might turn that tide once again and secure a second round for Big Brain Esports. All they've got to do is just hold a little bit longer. Fish Noodle trying to set up the angle in towards initiation. Unfortunately for Team Bliss, there is still one more buffer room between them and actually getting onto the side.
Exactly, so with 58 seconds remaining and ticking, BBE could have a really good time to just locking down the position here. Cass forced to push up. Obviously, we'll still be able to rendezvous with the rest of the roster, but right now, basically BBE are playing that somewhat of a passive game, just forcing essentially Team Bliss to make a mistake, to start trying to force through the positions where so many openings are ready to go, and they will be extremely difficult to really wedge out here. But long angle contested rather easily here by Soy. Will be shutting things down, shutting down 2, make it a triple overall for Soy, and now all of a sudden the BBE lineup all collapsed.
Unfortunately, he gets found at the long angle, effectively down to a 2 versus 2. 8 seconds remaining. The push needs to come. Cheese might be able to dissuade this, but time fire on the plant. Cass there to cover. Needs to deny the plant, and the shots are on. Cheese claims the breadstick and the round.
There we go, Echo coming in rather big at the end of it all. We'll be keeping Big Brain Esports in the running still, although things certainly looked rather dire there for a brief moment, which could have ended the Themepark run just like that, but no, it won't yet be closed off, as second point for Big Brain Esports now, a 4-point differential. We're starting to get closer and closer. The comeback train could certainly still be on the way here for BBE.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
That's a long railroad. It really is.
I mean, of course it is, but
possible.
look, I mean,
Anything is possible.
At this point, yeah, anything is possible, honestly, Panda, given that, so far, I mean, the defense definitely feels like a much more polished sort of ground for Big Brain Esports, despite, you know, the unfortunate shortcomings here and there, but it's more so just down to just mechanical part of the deal.
Now I'm missing Brain Armory, of course. Big Brain, I mean, the preferred site for a lot of teams on this map after initiation and offers.
10 seconds to go.
Here. I mean, this could be what they need to get a third on the board. This could be what solidifies the comeback possibilities.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
We did get to see ourselves that sort of third point. Definitely could get quite sold on the general sort of idea that BBE could make a big comeback here, but on the same side, it would be very much of an upset turnout for Team Bliss, given that they've gained such a good momentum for themselves coming off the defensive side, but the attack being a rather problematic result on the Themepark could really rustle a few jimmies here and there. Definitely would imagine that KT will be yelling at the teammates after the map number 1.
Yeah, look, I would imagine. But you're spot on in that analysis that there are some rustling jimmies currently. But Cass, I mean, look how deep she already is in the building. And you look at the off-site presence from this Big Brain roster. Soy claims the first, punching through aggressively. gets control away, and we'll start to go to work on that floor as well. Chloe checking cams, looking for info. They've got the Nitro cell. In fact, they've got 2 in hand they can put to work. But, I mean, we saw it from Bliss. They played it with the pulse, so they had the info feed to make those Nitro cells as effective as possible. That's not something the Big Brain have, and Bernabear, again, in this lane position. It's about the off-site presence from these teams in the defense. That could be the difference maker. It doesn't help that Sam's on the job, though.
Yeah, the introduction of a few that we haven't really got to talk to would be a big impactful play here, because the sheer amount of chaos that it could have sown amidst some of the pushes could have been absolutely perfect here, but unfortunately things really didn't come to fruition. The secondary Heartbreach charge does come around, which also got a buff in terms of just how quickly it ticks out, and yeah, well, already with the 3v5, things are looking much more prominent here for Team Bliss.
The beginning of the end, it would seem, barring some miracle or some hectic mishap on the side of Team Bliss. This could be the last round of Themepark. We could be heading to Chalet very soon. Another fuse puck charge going out. Cheese in a bit of trouble. You can see them all mounted up, ready to go. Now, though, clearing out that utility to try and enable the breach into the site. This is where they need to aim their sights.
Indeed. To try to make that big play once again. Soy does get the better of Cheese. Sudden all grab to Chloe and Yoshi to make any sort of effort here. Swing comes around, unfortunately unsuccessful there for Yoshi, as it provides more ground for Audi to push. Chloe gets the better of 1, now needs 4 more, and that is going to be quite a gargantuan effort here.
Chloe, deep Nitro claims the life of Cash. Time to tie, this time not going to be interrupted. What a headshot. It's going to be the ace clutch for Chloe to bring this one back. Hits the dirt. Looking to try and play some cheeky angles here to upset what is this 2-player hold. Time to bite. Half health. Soy with a full bar. The swing. Soy almost loses their life there.
Yeesh.
But plays it perfectly. Gets the kill to win the match. We are heading to Chalet with Team Bliss up on map point Cthulhu. And I mean, what could have been a 7-0? You gotta give it to Big Brain Esports. They at least bring it back. It looked like it could have been even a 7-3, 7-4 by the end of that.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, Big Brain Esports, if not for the unfortunate turnout on the first half, I definitely reckon it could have gotten a whole lot closer of a scoreline, which, look, still at the end of it all, unfortunately, does not provide the map point over Team Bliss for BBE, but regardless of that, they still have one more chance, and that is going to be on Chalet, which would theoretically be a much more knowledgeable sort of area for both of the teams to really play it out on. So this is where maybe Big Brain Esports could really find themselves in a good advantage.
And I mean, we were seeing, I mean, some hugely positive stuff out of Team Bliss on this, the first half. That defense was, I mean, it was flawless, 6-0 to be exact. They brought it back from a couple of very differential situations where it looked like they might have lost out. But, I mean, as much as Big Brain did look good on the defense, and you got to say, with the rounds that they had, the rounds that they won, they did. They looked pretty solid. Unfortunately, there just wasn't enough leeway. There wasn't enough room to move in that second half with only a single round able to be lost. And it's unfortunate. Maybe if they'd won a few more in the first half, that could have been a far deeper map.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, definitely sort of wondering how the whole match overall would have gone if we would have seen a slightly different sort of result coming out of the first half. But regardless, what's done is done. Unfortunately, it is not for BBE, it is not the win. Fortunately, very much for Team Bliss, they do continue their flawless streak. We do have one more map, which is going to be Chalet. Mildly, you could say kind of attacker-sided, given out of majority of the maps, this is the one that sports the healthier win rate for the attackers, but there's still quite a fair bit of groundwork to be done from both teams, and I reckon Chalet could be that big breaking point.
Well, unfortunately, there isn't that much time between then and now. We are going to throw it to a break, but I mean, you're coming into the next map as Big Brain. You got to use every minute that you have to get ready to try and take this to other side of map. So when we come back, we jump on into Chalet to see if we go to other side or whether Team Bliss claim themselves a crown here in Season 8. We'll be back very soon. See you then. back at it again, but better than ever, Cthulhu. We're coming into our second map of the grand final. Themepark, a lockout 7-2 victory to Team Bliss. We now head to Chalet, which ironically is their map pick. Coming into it, you've had time to chat, sit down. What a big brain needing to do here to take us to bank.
Honestly, I think attacking side is going to be crucial here for them, given that for Chalet, this is a map that does provide you with quite a fair few entry points. This is going to be a little bit easier, at least on the early stages of the round for BBE, to ensure that early momentum for themselves. Plus, I mean, the map itself is a whole lot more known for both of the teams. So some sort of the cheeky positions, some timings will be very much well known for both sides. So some rather unfortunate last moment C4s through the floor would be way less of an occurrence. And just sort of in general, this should be sort of the map that would provide a little bit more stability for either one of the teams. I doubt that we are going to be seeing another 6-0 half here for Team Bliss, and I definitely think that now that BBE started figuring out what's the general sort of approach against Team Bliss, whether it's defense or offense, given that we're starting to see those sort of sprouts coming around on the attack back on the theme park, I reckon this could get a whole lot closer.
I mean, Bliss starting out on the attack. I mean, do you feel that they maybe have an inherent advantage in getting a lead this map? Like you saw them on defense absolutely ran away with Themepark in map 1. Do they do the same here on Chalet?
I reckon we could see something in a similar sort of vein here for them with just the team knowing how to really approach it all with having a good sort of play in terms of just them knowing how, or rather who to play and who to really go with. Plus with Chloe starting to experiment and now finding a really good sort of flow of things on the Nook as well, I could certainly see it happen here, Panda. I could certainly see the sort of the initial momentum to be a whole lot more confident to go towards BBE. But again, even so, we are talking about how BBE could really have a good game here. Same goes for Bliss. I mean, this sort of the map knowledge goes both ways. And whilst for Team Bliss, they had a few shaky rounds, they had a few hiccups here and there, Chalet could still be also a very good comfort ground for them to really play around.
I mean, we also have confirmation that the one, the only But Theed is back. And I mean, we've heard conflicting reports. Some people were saying work, some people were saying sleeping in. I, for one, believe that she's just fashionably late. This is how But Theed operates. We know this of her. So coming into the competition now, joining in second map, we see Thatcher banned out. We have, I mean, again, we might see a Jackal. I think there's a couple of options here. But, I mean, at the moment, given what has been a pretty drastic change up. It's a dramatically drastic change up with the recent lot of patches. Flores, I think that one makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Flores would definitely be a really good ban here, given just how much flexibility he provides, how much he became more relevant, even in terms of the recent patches as well. So the Reterodrons, that would have been rather important, rather big for clearing out a whole lot of utility. I mean, we're even speaking about one of the better and one of the more flexible sites, the master bedroom and the office as well. No longer the attacking team will have that sort of flexibility to really play around. Alibi being banned out, fully realizing how impactful that operator could be, and Valkyrie to wrap it all up does certainly still provide quite a few more openings, including the one and only Mirror as well to be played here by both teams.
Yeah, Mirror available is pretty scary. That plus the Zami being in play on a map like Chalet could be quite potent. But Theed back in it, replacing Burner Bear here, obviously. We'll be picking up the mantle of the Jaeger once again. She's had some very, memorable moments on this map, on this operator. So, I mean, if there's anyone you want coming and clutch for the team, it's going to be her.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused.
Given her
by
veteran
attackers.
status as well, this could be the prime time opportunity. But with her back into the swing of things, like you highlighted, Panda, Jaeger pick basically a must-have in terms of Batid's loadout and in terms of her picks. But I mean, we're looking at Team Bliss, initially looking to introduce the Zero, but then opting into bringing in the Nomad to have that sort of flank watch is a very sane idea, because I mean, with Batid being a rather flexible sort of player, trying to limit her sort of movement range would be an ideal thing to do.
Yeah, try and shut down the flexibility, the freedom as much as possible. But I mean, it's so wild to think. I mean, you and I, we haven't had a lot of siege to cast recently, so this is the first one back. I mean, after the Berlin Major, strangely enough, and seeing the M762 back in play is kind of nuts.
Yeah, M762 certainly feels like it was a long time coming for that gun to make an appearance yet again, but it certainly feels nice, given that they definitely provide a whole lot more, I guess, the better way to call it is just more satisfying gameplay, seeing as, you know, when you're able to make a really big play off the back of that, you know, it's a good sense of accomplishment. With LMGs, it's just you hold down the left click and basically that's it, you snooze, really. So good to see that it's back, good to see that we are changing up the meta. And I mean, the general sort of thing with the patch as well, with all of the guns having one or the other different sort of pattern in the recoil as well, this certainly prompts for a bit of a relearning, a bit of a reassessment of what operators to bring or what operators would be much more viable.
Speaking of viability, you can see Batid again, ready to play off of these library stairs down towards the basement side. And unfortunately, it seems that Sav has unfortunately met the short end of Yoshi's utility already here on this map. And yeah, geez, calls it early, the Pog coming in, oh no. Oh no, Batid, no way. There is no way, absolutely no way she gets away with this. They have, no, there we go. Sam says, hold on, that bush looks a bit funny.
Yeah, something ain't right. Better light it up and lit up happen. Uh-oh. That
was team nade damage onto Aussie, Soy, and Aussie and Soy. The reason Aussie is this low is because of the team nade, and it was her nade.
Attackers
rather unfortunate, rather tragic, but with the breaches starting to come around, this is the prime time for Team Bliss to start making the push to happen, with the bulletproof cameras as well starting to be used for the MP's plays. In comes the swing, but instead it's just a utility dump. Long range angles are very difficult to contest, and Aussie will be falling. Run out is also there. Chloe gets the better of Soy, and all of a sudden this is looking very dire for Team Bliss.
Versus 3 technically, Aussie on the ground, but Sav has the angle over towards the shelves in piano. He's going to find the long range concussion. Eaton, the second one lands. The impact. Eaton again. No, unfortunately there, but Themepark will be going for an attempt on the defuse. You can see Bliss there lighting it up. Yoshi in trouble, as so is Chloe. And it is He's Bender who unfortunately only claims the life of Themepark after the diffuser goes down. Has 3 more to find, but has a full bar of health. Unfortunately, with that Saria Gate reset, can't throw the Nitro out onto the wall to open up that long angle to rotate through, but it is what it is. You got to make the play, you got to push on in. Player close right. Unfortunately, despite a rough start from Sav, she brings the round back in a spectacular way.
Very nicely done. Yeah, look, it definitely looked a little bit dire there, for all intents and purposes. But round 1 to go after very scrappy turnout into the hands of Team Bliss certainly proves the theory that this one is a much more of a familiar ground for Big Brain Esports as well. Plus, yeah, them starting on defense certainly continues the sort of the comfort zone play, where they already have adjusted for the fact that it's them who have to basically set up all the traps and everything. I've got to commend, you know, the effort from Batid to try to make a little bit of a sort of a human trap. But
the classic Batid moment.
Yeah.
I am the frost mat. Ignore me, but I mean, what I can't ignore, because we are 28 seconds away from this round starting. There is a single drone left in play. Certainly
a bit of a misplay maybe from Team Bliss, and a good turnout from Big Brain Esports, providing the fact that they just not really allowing a whole lot of progression in terms of the info gathering for Team Bliss. We'll be limiting that sort of toolkit quite thoroughly. Plus, I mean, the extra setups plus the mirror as well.
Oh wait, no. Okay,
Make sure
never
that
mind. Maybe a visual glitch, because there was the number one. I'm not crazy. There was the number one. Maybe they were all just sitting on the same drone. I don't know. But there are 10 drones now in play. The game has played me like a fool.
Yeah, played both of us, it seems. Rather unfortunate, but regardless, that would have been, you know, a big sort of progression, but we'll abstract ourselves from that one. For now, though, for Big Brain Esports, the one thing that I'm very much looking out for is their setup with the mirror as well, because that could really provide a really good positioning in terms of the upstairs hold, as well as that having that extra sort of buffer of land to really play around could really give a lot more comfort ground for the defense and for the rotational plays of BBE.
Right now, pushing through the basement, looking at clearing from the bottom up, and Soy, the one to capitalize on Cheese's rotate down through blue. Sav again narrowly avoiding death at the hands of a Frost. 2 rounds in a row, 2 different ways though.
He's already bit of a rough turnout there for Batin, as well as that Cheese to fall. Aussie falls as well amidst all of that, as Chloe does manage to hold her position. The FMG9 smoke, the Cortari special coming out here from the BBE player to make as much ruckus as possible. And I mean, this hold so far actually providing to to be rather beneficial.
And I mean, no longer the Finker clutch, or crutch pick rather, coming in. We're not going to see those nano boosts to come through, so the adrenal surge not going to be keeping Bliss healthy. It's something that you love to see. We do hear that there is an air jab somewhere. And it was, okay, maybe it's just an audio bug. One of the things you love to see. Either way, there was an air jab in play somewhere. I don't know if it's going to go to effect, but yeah. He's questioning the motivations and strategies right now. It's all a bit of banter. You love to see it.
Unfortunate here. Well, what seems to be unfortunate is that 1v2 all of a sudden. Chloe, the last player standing, won't really be having a whole lot of fun time. The opportune moment to try to catch Sav maybe off guard here, but the coverage is there. Both players holding the very similar position, so a smoke grenade could have been impactful here. Down goes Sav, but not fully out. Cass could really pick her back up. In comes the smoke grenade. This is the perfect turnout. Perfect frag as well. Does get the down as well. Perfect run out. And the turnout for Chloe as she manages to clutch it all up.
Not sure about the actions after the kill, but a lovely 4K and a defuse to boot. And this game looking like it might be a little bit closer.
Absolutely, yeah. Chalet definitely looking like a much closer venture here between the two teams, and something that I'm certainly all keen for, because yeah, with Themepark being a rather dominant venture regardless, despite all of the best efforts from BBE, Team Bliss, this one could certainly rattle them.
Most definitely. I mean, look, I think maybe it was a case of it just took that much longer to get warmed up.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Right now, at 1-1, this could be a far more even affair.
Discover the location of a bomb.
Absolutely, yeah. The defense certainly felt much more comfortable there for BBE, as they just held on to it pretty comfortably. Plus, I mean, the sheer amount of rotations that we did get to see from them and the flexibility in their sort of positioning certainly speaks the volumes for how much prepared BBE are. Interesting lineup actually being introduced here by Chloe, looking to try to get a few more pixel positions, maybe to implement the Thorn Trap as well, plus the introduction of Castle, the operator that, I mean, not a whole lot of teams, well, sorry, rather not every team does end up running, but in the right hands, he can basically change the whole general outcome of the round.
Yeah, indeed. Sav looking like the Zero is going to be the play here. And that could be a big change-up. I mean, there's a lot of utility that a Zero can deal with the Argus cameras. And already, speaking of cameras, Soy on the hunt. Cam will finally deal the finishing blow. Look to get themselves up. And I mean, this kitchen dining defense, you're going to be looking for that verticality. So the question will be, how long can Big Brain hold off in the office and master bedroom?
Yeah, already quite a very quick swing coming out from Soy right off the back of the entry. As unfortunate for BBE, they still going through a few more setups here and there, but yeah, things is definitely not looking particularly too pretty for the defense from the get-go with Fish Noodle out of the equation. That's at the very least just one of the guns gone. But they be scouted out here, and you need to be very cautious about her position and not overexposing herself too much. Right now, she's about to get basically the full roster be hunting for her.
Indeed. Hear the drone though. I know they're actively hunting for her at the moment. The Argus cam should surely reveal her position if Sav can get the line of sight. But they, yeah, spotted, shot at, will be forced out of a position playing down in that basement roam. You can see they've done the work they need to. They've gotten some positioning. They can start getting into office and taking the vert. But we saw what happened last round. There can be big differences made with just a single player.
So still no clear out on the bottom floor, which does provide Batid with a lot of rotational position. It seems like Bliss actually opting to completely ignore the position, but I mean, we're looking at the fireplace stairs. This is where the damage could be dealt. Exactly that. Cass falls, and straight away a fallback from Batid. Straight away to rendezvous with the rest of the team back on the side. Perfect pull out.
The little head shake, Batid's a little bit shook running back through the basement. No, don't want any of this. Get out of here. And there you go, another nade through. Unfortunately eaten by the ADS. They're trying to clear out these artillery floors. Which Cheese, I mean, the positioning has been spectacular in enabling that hold so far in the bar, no, the bedroom. No, my brain has tried the kitchen right now, and time to buy things to be damage. Bliss being forced off it, but need again. Chloe swings on a time for pie. 4 versus 2, make that a 3 versus 2. Aussie down in the corner. Soy in trouble. It's an absolute shutdown. Big Brain bringing it back, and for the first time in the series, have the lead.
Yeesh. Yeah, Big Brain Esports making it work rather nicely. And I mean, despite the early shutdown of Fish Noodle, yeah, they were able to make it really clean. So, that said, Big Brain Esports now, first time in a while, leading in points over Team Bliss, which is going to be a rather alarming sort of turnout for Team Bliss. But, well, it's nothing too just tragic just yet, but certainly does sort of point us in the direction of what we could possibly see here with BBE potentially having the opportunity here to shut down that flawless streak from Team Bliss and at least take away a map from them.
And what a time to do it, of course. The grand finals, but right now they've got a third round to get here in this harp office and master bedroom. The Caden play once again. Chloe sporting that 8.0 KD currently. Only needs 5 rounds to hold on. Only needs to hold on to it in 5 rounds to lock it in stone.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, the KD hunt and the KD game could be here rather prominent one. We've talked about Soy nearly managing to achieve the KD record before, but unfortunately that didn't really end up happening. Maybe going into this matchup we could see one of the BBE players be able to perform and to be able to show up. Oh, certainly could see that happen.
You can't be saying that sort of thing. They've been showing up. They're fine. No, you're right.
Oh, no. As in, like,
there needs to be some support. Yeah, there needs to be some more support. It can't just be Chloe popping up every round. So you got to hope the rest of the team can at least sit on her shoulder and match the pace that she's sitting currently. Because otherwise, I mean, regardless of how good their start is in the map, it could be nullified if they can't keep up.
Very much so. But I mean, already with Cass starting to cause some ruckus down below with Aussie on the backup as well. They're off to a good start. I mean, even just how much grief but they'd ended up bringing from the last round, they wanting to make sure that the ground floor, rather the bottom floor, has been all completely locked in. Perfect peek here by Chloe, playing with the cover as well by her side. Fish Noodle unfortunately does fall, but already in a 4v4, this is a much more workable situation here.
It's the butt feed difference at the end of the day.
Exactly.
4 versus 4, but the health bars on Bliss looking a little bit bleak, a little bit less than ideal. And with Chloe ripping heads like she is so far, this could be a very, very tough battle to try and get it onto the site. And already you can see repositioning, trying to reallocate those resources and go for a different approach onto the site. Cass, I mean, where do they go from here? What's the play? It looks like it might be a library push.
It does look like possibly a library push. I mean, with the diffuser going that way as well, could very much see this happening. Already very accelerated play here. Minute remaining though, so it still provides a little bit more, buffer to really work around here for Team Bliss. But I mean, already with so much utility being completely nullified by both sides, will end up going down to just plain old gunfights, with Cass getting the better of Bathid though. Things are not looking too good. Frag Grenade as well falls up onto Chloe, and just like that, BBE are getting picked apart one by one.
WK10 down to a 4.5 now, no longer the 9. Yoshi rotating and try and provide some support after a teammate's fall. Ping's going out, but I think it's misinformation currently. They've got 2 players in to try and hold Solarium Window Repel. No, sorry, not even Solarium Window Repel. It's out towards the balcony outside of office. Yes, there. Cheese falls. Aussie lines it up, pushing in through the office door. Time 5. Going for the default plant spot. Cass swings aggressively, shut down, but Soy, this time on the master bedroom repel, covering that angle, does shut down Yoshi with the swing.
Yeah, Bliss now getting a pretty good hold overall onto the general situation, does make it so that we'll be back onto the even Steven sort of scoreline, but still a 2-2 scoreline definitely does promise for a much closer storyline, let's call it that, between the two rosters. Still, though, for Team Bliss, all they need really is to win out the Chalet, and that's basically all done and dusted. Whereas for Big Brain Esports, they need to win Chalet and then Bank to be able to claim the first place. So the stakes are slightly different here for the two rosters, but I mean, as long as they're able to take it sort of one map at a time, one round at a time, they should still be all good, all clear.
Indeed. But right now, I mean, tied up once again. 2 rounds remaining in the half. We head back to games and bar, where Chloe clutched up magnificently last time. Made sure to stretch your hamstrings along the way. But again, I think it's a case, if you look at the comparative, frags being brought by the rest of the team, there are collectively 5 kills for Big Brain outside of Chloe's influence so far. And that is not a pace that you can maintain for any real stretch.
Absolutely, I can't really fully rely on just one player to really, clutch up continuously and be that leader. Although we did see a few of the rosters that were able to perform that feat, but again, it does require for the rest of the team to at least provide, assistance in just enabling those kills to happen. So, yeah, look, there's definitely a lot of things that still need to be worked on, still need to be ironed out. As a matter of fact, from both of the rosters. So, certainly, Big Brain Esports providing a good competition to Team Bliss on Chalet.
We tend to see the map swap between the two teams, which would be rather entertaining in all honesty. But the getting herself out of a bit of danger, playing it pretty close to the chest, unfortunately almost got taken out in Fireplace. She's trying to figure out where to put these last 2 pog mats right now. Cass returned from the drone. Steph should get some big information, but no, unfortunately can't whip the drone around in time. And but back to her old shenanigans.
Back to her old shenanigans indeed. I mean, she is relatively all covered up, but yeah, simple pre-fire through those couches will basically find the end of her as she's starting to move away, completely unaware from the fact that a simple swing from Soy could basically be the end of her run here. Pre-fire there, all big. No, so actually elects to not even try to follow up on that one, which does allow Bathid to actually rotate up to the top mezzanine. stairs, as Sav already also takes up quite a fair bit of damage. So far, the rest of BBE actually doing a really good job in terms of just holding off onto the push.
Batid is getting some real distance here this round. A lot of relocations, a lot of different positions being played, pings going out. I think the default might even be up currently. Shots on the Sav will be finished off by Chloe, who claims stuff double digits. Soy back for one, but unfortunately time for Pi traded out as well. So the numbers just dwindling here, that little bit more for Bliss. Apparently, luckily Chloe is low, so they should be able to finish her off with a little bit of investment here. The fact that Soy getting to this position was spotted by of course, but Pete is just desperately sprinting towards a kill. Aussie goes down, so does Soy. A triple for Chloe in the round. Fish loses to close it out, and Big Brain will take the lead again.
Ish. Chloe once again popping off, enabling the rest of the team to wrap it all up. Very nicely done. 3-pointer already on their defense certainly does prompt us for at least a 3-3 half, which is miles already better than the turnout that was seen from BBE in the first half of Themepark, albeit again 2 different sides. But regardless of that, this does provide a little, well, a whole lot more actually, comfort zone for Big Brain Esports to go into the second half with. So
Attackers need to
definitely something to keep an eye out for. Definitely something that Big Brain Esports could very much utilize once we do go into the second half, and once they will get to basically, well, experiment with some of the plays. Because for Team Bliss, I have a lot of doubts really with them knowing how to defend, but I'm also curious about how will BBE really approach defense of Team Bliss.
Really? They honestly, Bliss, if they can get one more, they're quite happy with how the half plays out. They go on the defense, which is for the most part the favoured side for most of the teams here in the XPWL Women's League.
5 seconds.
Okay, there we go. Oh, no. Oh, I think that was 2 keeper barricades there that were committed.
Stop worrying about grenades now.
Yeah. Unfortunate in terms of I guess you could call it to a certain degree a utility waste. Considering we still see a very good round here. At least for Team Bliss, they could sort of unintentionally make use of it, given that there's going to be way less of the cover made by the defense. But I mean, you look at the lineup, introduction of Zero could provide all the necessary information gain in here as well to just understand the general sort of lineup and the general setup of the defensive play.
A little bit of bias coming from the spectator client here in Rainbow Six, already calling it as a 4v5. Unfortunately, the truth could not be any further from reality. And look at it, it's a 4 versus 5 in favor of Big Brain instead. The call is wrong. This is why it's only the spectator client, not a caster like us.
Yeah, look, already Yoshi started to get pressured. Doesn't allow to fall back, as well as that, but he comes up a nice frag onto Aussie as well, got clustered between the multiple shots as well, which only leaves Soy and Time to Fire. This looking to be a 4-2 scoreline, and I mean, a complete 180 turnout for Big Brain Esports compared to map number 1.
Indeed, it'd be a 4-2 half from the looks of things for Big Brain, a defender-sided Chalet, which is not something we see all too often. But
so,
when Bliss head over to the defense, that's where things can get scary if this is the way that Chalet is going to play out, of course. But 2 versus 5 with Yoshi and Butdeed tagged, it's not the end of the world. They do technically have the utility they need to go for an opening onto the side, but you'd hope that they find a couple of kills before that, because things can get very, very scary. They hit the final minute mark, though, Cthulhu. This is doable, but slightly less doable.
Slightly less doable, but still, regardless of that, 49 seconds. We could see this relatively quickly wrapped up here if BBE will just keep on playing their own game. If players like Batty, players like Chloe will be allowed to keep on rolling. I mean, 12-2 already. Still, it's a phenomenal KD that Chloe is able to output here. So we're looking at some very, very chaotic plays, given that Sawyer's already fallen. Swing comes around. Time to Bite does get the better of Fishnell, so it's not a flawless round, but regardless of that, still a phenomenal turnout for half number 1.
Wow, indeed. Much better than map 1. They don't go down quietly. Big Brain, in fact, having the prime position to take this and just go to the decider.
Decider could be actually quite a big opportunity here for the taking. Which, I mean, for Big Brain Esports here, this could be one of the best opportunities here for them to even contest the top position, or the very first place in the playoffs as well, to eliminate Team Bliss from being able to claim yet another title for themselves. We were talking about, you know, the big upset potential here, and it's certainly coming to quite a fair bit of fruition once we get into the map number 2. Definitely feels like maybe Themepark was a bit of a, you know, a warm-up game here between the two rosters.
Quite possibly. Maybe it was, I mean, you know, Big Brain Esports overplaying their hand a little bit, being a little bit over-ambitious with the, you know, going that far left field and trying to catch Team Bliss out. But you go back to what is, you know, safe for the ANZ seed and Chalet, and things are looking quite comfy.
Absolutely. I mean, remembering the ye-old Kraken run back at the OCL last year in the final stage, I mean, going from map 1, which they admittedly did get stomped, but then admitting that it was just basically their warm-up map, and then proceeding to stomp out on map 2 and 3, I mean, certainly makes me quite a believer in terms of just how things could really work out here.
Oh, but Feed almost caught on the reload there. Bit of a whip on both parts. Cass unfortunately not finding the mark. They will both back off for the moment, not wanting to waste any more time or ammunition. But Chloe on that rappel, slightly elevated on the library window, does claim time to fight, clearing her out and finding the back of her head.
Time for Pi out of the equation, certainly. This prompts us for yet another possibility to open up the scoreline, or rather continuing extending the scoreline rather in favor of BBE here, with the way how things been so far unraveling. Certainly a promising run here for the team, as actually, well, now the piano room and the office has been taken in full control, but I'm only just now realizing that the full reinforcement of the wall into the office won't really be allowing that easier of an access to the mezzanine, nor to the remainder of that library stairs hold. So Team Bliss certainly being, well, they have been certainly practicing the defense here. So for BB, despite the fact that they were able to find the early frag, it's the advancement which could be the rather problematic venture.
Indeed, and Cass with the scheme of barricade, allowing them to do a bit of work, but Stoy claims one back, followed up by Cass getting involved on the Yoshi. Looking for the player around the corner, but they just charged down, bodied out of the round. A sliver of house, and Sav takes it mercilessly. And it is Chloe remaining in the 1 versus 4 player there by the shield! And it's a bit of a whiff by Sam. Luckily, Soy not going to miss the mark there.
Yeesh. Yeah, look, they looked a little bit spooky there for a brief moment. But yeah, Bliss still managing to get the round in for themselves, starting to get closer and closer to evening out the scoreline. First time ever since we got to see the 2-2 scoreline. But yeah, look, this is so far has been still, regardless of the end outcome, this has been a good return to form by Big Brain Esports after what was a rather upsetting, I'll be honest, turnout on Themepark. Chalet definitely feels right, let's call it that, for BBE, given that, I mean, after the sheer amount of hype up, the sheer amount of, you know, storylining for them that has been lining up pretty well. If Chalet would have ended up the same way as Themepark, it would have been a rather anticlimactic result.
Yeah, indeed. That's the truth of it. So the fact that we go a little bit deeper, you love to see it. Bliss, though, only a single round behind and 4 away from taking the entire series. So realistically, It's anyone's guess how Chalet plays out. Bliss back in the comfort, back onto the defense. Big brain are struggling. Obviously, attack not the strongest aside to them. We do see the sends, however, coming in the hands of Chloe.
I'm curious how will send really work out here, because it's not usually the conventional operator to be brought out, especially for a map like Chalet, but it's an operator that could absolutely turn things around here with the ability to cut off quite a number of sidelines, and just the way how Sense's flexibility does, or rather what it brings to the round, could certainly be that sort of big momentum changer even.
Exactly it, Yoshi. And the rest of the team looking to clear in, but a nitro from Soy could change things up. Drone cleared out. So Soy might still have that opening available. Oh, what a shot from Time Fire, but the default no more Nomad. That could be quite detrimental.
Yeah, with no more Nomad, things would definitely open up for the room. Yeah, and definitely this does prompt a little bit of a frustration.
I think Time Pie was just surprised that she got that gunfight successfully. Yep, I was going to jump out and instead found but the...
Look, I mean, it all works out at the end of it all, but yeah, definitely quite a turnout here, which certainly doesn't help a whole lot to BBE as Time Flies on a rampage, it seems, after quite a quiet first half. This time finally being all woken up. Sav, long-range gunfight, and she's the one to come out victorious here, and Soy does wrap it all up as poor Chloe just could not find the right gunfight for herself that round.
Flawless round there for Bliss. We didn't even get to see the Sands deploy the Great Green Wall. No optic gameplay today, unfortunately, Cthulhu. So, 4-4, tied up. And this might be the comeback from behind that seals the deal.
4-4 now, with BBE losing all of their comfort ground in terms of the points. Now it's back to, well, the stressful street, it seems, for now the attacking side, because yeah, certainly the start of their attack certainly didn't provide a lot of big context, apart from, you know, a few good early starts, but from there on being unable to really, you know, nail the continuation of that momentum certainly opened up a few more possibilities for Bliss to really utilize. I mean, the fact that from you know, on a number of occasions getting the better of Time for Pi and then trying to claim straight away that ground definitely did not really help a whole lot, albeit again quite a fair few obstacles were in between, you know, claiming the ground where Time for Pi will be holding and then being able to actually move into it regardless of that. Certainly been a bit of a rough street.
The unfortunate nature being that regardless of the fact that Chloe is up at a +10 right now, it may not be enough to secure the map. Given how Bliss have been able to bring it back the last couple of rounds, how comfortably they're playing, how well they're hitting their shots. I mean, you look at the spread across the board, Soy is really the front runner. And then you've got 3 players either on 5 or 6, being Cat, 7, Time Fly, and Aussie, the anchor for the team on the smoke, just holding sight down. Chloe will claim the line for Seb, so no more Jaeger. And that buck is already going to work.
Be a big opener, though, to provide that sort of a little bit more of a lockdown for positioning for the defensive team. Bliss, I say that, though, there's still Cass roaming around. There's still, you know, Time for Pi still playing around the bottom floor, so still quite a fair few of those pre-set-up traps could really clear out and could provide a lot of trouble to really thoroughly clear it out as well, because for Time for Pi, I mean, her positioning could really catch the buck off guard as well. With Frictional already pushing up, this could be at least a good play for the side, but I mean, yeah, just as I said, that Chloe does get eliminated.
Thief in the night, Time for Pi out of danger. Yoshi will take down the smoke in the hands of Aussie. That's an unfortunate loss. Cheese on for the plant. Can they line up the nitro to deny it? But no, Cheese should stick this one out, but he goes down. Unfortunately finished off there by Cass. Soy should hear the diffuser go out and will make her way up. Solarium, does she know? Will get the better of Fish Noodle, and that is a colossal kill, given how well Fish Noodle was playing on Themepark. Time Fire looking for the rotate. Has an idea. There's a player close, but Cass swings, goes down. Yoshi holding down the fort for the team. The 2 versus 1. Themepark and Soy are there. Do they have any idea of Yoshi's positioning? And the walk-in, Soy swings, wins it out. They will get the defuse to boot here. Cthulhu Bliss back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Bliss managing to completely take over everything really that was gained by Big Brain Esports. Definitely puts it into quite a bit of a perspective that the defensive side here in terms of the 2 teams that are versing on the Chalet, certainly not the attacker-sided matchup here between the 2 rosters. And yeah, look, definitely a bit of an upsetting turnout for Big Brain Esports. They would be quite, I would imagine, getting a little bit frustrated from the general sort of turnout in terms of just the way how, you know, they're getting picked apart bit by bit. They seeming to be able to find a good sort of initial entry, find at least one of the early frags, but from there on, because of just how thin they are spread on a number of positions and a number of occasions, it ends up being those unintentional sort of 1v1 or 1v1s or 1vx's that end up going their way. So maybe later down the line, if we do get to see the very same lineup to play next season, maybe even play for the numbers and play for the overmatch, maybe just the idea, maybe just the play for them to really work on.
The setup coming in for Bliss. I mean, Cthulhu, the fact that they're 2 rounds away from closing out this series, this season, they're claiming victory. I mean, that's got away on the mental just a little bit of Big Brain Esports. The fact that they came so close to bringing out the win here in match 2 and taking us to the decider, but they're looking like they may have done their dash and used up all that energy only to be shut down. So hopefully they can hold it together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll hope that they will get to hold on to their spot, their position, the opportunity, because it's not all done yet. It's still not yet the match point for Team Bliss. Big Brain could certainly still push this to a 5-5 scoreline, which would be already quite a good feat here. But the setting up the air jab, fully acknowledging how impactful the play from down below could be, but now comes the info gathering phase. With 2 minutes remaining, this is already a good push as it is, but not a whole lot of pressure coming around to the library means that Team Bliss could really mobilize a whole lot of their players down towards the library, the mezzanine, the library stairs position, and just basically play for the numbers.
Yeah. Every frag here that Big Brain loses is going to be detrimental, especially on a bar gaming hole. And there you go, Aussie, what a shot on the Yoshi, and that is the first of what could be many dominoes.
Yoshi out of the equation, Chloe will be next up to try to apply some more pressure. Phenomenal shot there onto Time for Pi, as that cracks open possibility to keep on pressuring the library even further, or even just make an entry into the piano room. No, full on jump in, but the perfect play and backs out. Able to find that frag onto Sav does make things a whole lot more workable. Soy just inches away from that swing and could get the better of Chloe if she has the element of surprise, but no, actually just holds onto that spot, just hold on to her position without the real need to actually overextend.
Oh, this is where things start to get a bit deadly. Toxic canisters are there as with the final 40. So there is utility to deny this push. That's where you want to accelerate things. You don't want to give Aussie time to set up. Shots through the floor, Soy! Come on, you heard them above you. That is truly unfortunate. Chloe falls to Cass, and the 3 versus 2 looking infinitely possible right now. To rotate in through the basement. Cass is playing herself right now, baiting out shots across the map. And Aussie has a colossal job on her hand. 15 seconds left. Toxic canister. If she throws the last one here, she can deny the push. They've got to feed through. Cheese in towards the diffuser. This could be the play if Aussie can find the shot. Cheese going for the defuse. This is big. No, the shutdown. Big Brain. We played the final 2 kills of the round, and we're going to the tie once again.
Very nicely done. Good angle hold as well from Big Brain to just keep themselves afloat, to keep themselves running 5-5. Full regulation Panda as well is what we are gonna go into here from Big Brain Esports versus Team Bliss. This is a great opportunity here, and I mean, yeah, the hold and the play, despite, you know, how close the timer did get, ended up working out perfectly well. Looking at the score, I mean, look at this, 16-6 from Chloe, and then the next following up is Butlead with 8-7, whereas it's a 12-pointer from Soy going into the play, but a much more sort of even spread of the frags for Team Bliss, it seems. But gotta say, Grand Esports, when it's the most necessary, they are able to keep up. They are able to keep holding on. Indeed, well, that provided them.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Full regulation. I mean, if Chloe does stick this one out, that begs a lot of questions given how close they are to actually taking this one to bank. That is a high risk operator to be bringing.
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, in the current iteration, Glass can be an absolute laser beam as well of death, because with the muzzle brake change, with the general recoil change of the OTS rifle plus the vertical grip that you could chuck on it, it can be a very dangerous one, even for just an entry, which, I mean, it's a very weird thing, I feel, to say that Glass could be the next big, you know, entry fragger and, you know, big player, but I mean, the OTS could certainly do the job, but regardless of that, Yoshi already took quite a fair bit of damage. And
Butlead! Swinging hands in chat!
Toxic.
Toxic indeed. You missed the first game and then you come in with that heat in game 2.
I mean, that's just a good sign that they reset the mental.
That's classic Butlead. Speaking of classic, Fish Noodle finds the Pog. Matt and Yoshi going to claim or recover. A teammate goes down. And that is truly unfortunate, because this was the momentum that Big Brain were looking for, only to be denied by what was a very, very unfortunate placement for Big Brain anyway.
So, already in a 4v4, whoever wins out this round will be able to claim the match point, at least to be able to go into OT, which could provide a lot of leverage here. Swing comes around. Chloe does a perfect job at eliminating Sav. Fish Noodle as well follows up. 4v2. All of a sudden, for Team Bliss, a lot of problems could be compounding from this one.
Aussie and Stoy to hold on. Bottom and top fragger, respectively, for this team currently. This is going to be colossal. Oh, the drone. What a spot on Aussie. I don't know if it captured Soy there, but you look at it. You can hear footsteps galore, so hopefully they've got the good headsets on. They know where this audio's coming from.
Here we go! Stay back!
Talk about the one taps. Rip Aussie. Rest in Pepe's, but so is Chloe. Completely eliminated now, 18-7. Absolutely gargantuan effort so far, but Soy, now being the loose cannon, could absolutely shut it down, but Theed falls as well. Cheese to get the plan down, so now BBE get to completely hunker down here, and it's all down to Soy to win out the long range gunfight with the possibilities of just playing around that smoke grenade. No glass means can't really play around with the thermal optics, but the full top heavy hold will be meaning that, well, problems are certainly going to be compounding.
I mean, that was almost the opening on the Fish Noodle. If she found that shot, she can't quite find the dip. It's there. It's over to your left. There you go. Oh, the shot of Fish Noodle. She's going to have to stick the defuse. So Cheese, what are you doing? She's going to pop the hatch. Soy might just be able to slow this one down by the angle. It's presented. The shot's almost off the mark. Cheese very narrowly missing out there. That could have been disastrous as Soy was looking to stick it out, but there you have it. Big Brain on Matt Point here on Chalet.
There we go, indeed, yeah. Making it work for themselves, just one round away from claiming Chalet, and Bank is going to be upon us. The map that I'll be genuinely honest here and truthful, I'll confess that I did not expect for Bank to come around, given just previous records of Team Bliss, but this is looking pretty good right now for Big Brain Esports, and certainly something that going into the bank, they could go with quite a big, you know, positive morale boost as well off the back of Chalet if it gets wrapped up in their fail.
All reinforcements nearly done.
Indeed. Right now, though, I mean, Big Brain could be taking us to bank soon, too.
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, bank could certainly be either a map where we could see Team Bliss to get absolutely turbo tilted, or a map that could be just going back and forth continuously. Given that we've gone past the the whole shock value of Themepark being one of those unexplored maps. We're going into the maps that have been played thoroughly. Maybe not bank as much, but certainly the Chalet simply shows that what could have been happening as well if Team Bliss would have allowed maps like Oregon, maps like Clubhouse to actually seep through as well.
Oh dear. I mean, the fact that Big Brain might just sneak this one away, and it would be a trade of each team's map pick, with Chloe as well going plus 11 on the Glass here. I mean, they've really shifted things up. It's quite insane.
So, this right now, I mean, you're looking at their position, very much of a sort of a spread positioning between both the ground floor and the second floor. Even then, there's also presence down below as well for a flank to happen. Time for Pi doing some good work. A double for herself. Very nicely done. BBE having a bit of a struggle here to try to get a hold of the kitchen and the dining position. And as I say that, Soy pitches in on the whole dilemma as well. But Theed gone. Chloe tagged to all hell, and now it's all down to her and Cheese.
Oh boy, we're going to OT here, Cthulhu. Cheese outside. Yeah, I think this is a not fight there. I don't think there is going to be
I don't think that's
much
happening.
of a chance. Given this will likely be a flawless round, and Aussie says, no thank you. We've got places to be, and Soy shuts it down, shots to the back. OT on the cards. Bliss. I believe they start off on the defense.
Could be an interesting turnout. Now for Big Brain Esports, despite all their efforts, they're not out of this yet. They're not even out of the second map. Despite what looked like we could, start some early celebrations and, oh yeah, bank is upon us, bank is coming. But no, not yet. Still very much contested, very thoroughly contested as a matter of fact, and Bliss could certainly run away with quite a bit of a heist even before they get to the actual money vault.
And defuse as many bombs as they can.
The money vault. We'll see if it opens up. And for who? Realistically, Yoshi bringing the Ying here, paired with the Glass. I mean, they're investing a lot to try and enable Chloe right now, which, I mean, could be the play, but you look at it across the board, Chloe actually has the better KD right now.
Yeah, Soy certainly sporting a little bit of slightly healthier KD than Chloe, but still can't really be taken away, and the effort of both of these players has been rather gargantuan. And I mean, then on top of it, you have Bliss and Papaya that has been putting the effort. Sap as well, pitching it on a few occasions. And on the side of BB, look, you have Buttheed, who has been an absolute menace to society. And next up is Fishnoodle, who has had quite a few really nice, really solid entries, but as it is, unfortunately, just not yet enough to solidify a win here. Now, in the overtime, we still have at least 2 more rounds to really play it out, and both the teams will get to experience both the attack and the defense, so we could certainly see a bit of a momentum change, I reckon.
Well, Soy's dead, so we have 2 tied KDs currently. Unfortunately for Bliss, it does put them on the back foot for the remainder of this OT. But we'll see. I mean, especially if Time for Pi can put that MK14 to work, it'd be huge.
So yeah, and MK14 could be rather deadly. We already got to see it shine last round, so surprised to see a very similar turnout here as well already. Shots are being exchanged to left, right, and center, but no actual full-on confirmation just yet. So
Taking point. Don't follow.
maybe this is the round where we get to see some sort of definitive answer to the performances and the performance question of both of the rosters.
Well, Chloe, living up to the, I suppose, the onus of what is true Nook play, lurking down in the basement. With the drones coming deep, they should identify Sav sitting behind the shield, is trying to line up a very close angle. But right now,
Throwing frag.
this is a very, very tense situation. The ADS is going to eat the nades. Chloe shut down. We're back to the 4 versus 4.
Yeah, with calculating the better of Chloe, that's the big top fragger out of the equation. Swing though could come around. Fictional was able to pull off those sort of frags before, so wouldn't be surprised. It's already starting to meet up rotation. Mezzanine completely forfeited, and as a matter of fact, Fictional down but not yet confirmed, which could cause a few more problems. Cass getting a little bit more flustered about the play, does find the finisher courtesy of the information that was gained from it. Very nicely done, but we'll get to actually hold off right under the mezzanine. Stanford does return and default back to the side to keep an eye out for the double door into the gaming.
Into the gaming we go, indeed. Ironically enough. But the ADS, massive shot there from her to shut it down. That could have been quite detrimental later on in the round, but she's got the positioning here now in library above Yoshi, right on this gaming window.
15
The jump in
seconds to
could
go.
be huge, but a player deficit as significant as this one could be tough to overcome, especially with Cheese going down. The jump in, Yoshi, that's the headshot you're looking for, but Cass lines them up, knocks them down. Cthulhu Bliss, again, back in the driver's seat, looking to take the series before it goes to bank.
Each Team Bliss certainly having a good control, at least over overtime. We'll be on the brink of the victory and of the first place. Big Brain Esports, first time in a while, deciding to bring out the timeout to have a chat, because they oh so close to be able to push this to bank, oh so close to even being able to just break the general sort of streak, but unfortunately for them, it is not there yet. One more round separates them once again from drawing it all out, and then, well, the last round of the overtime will be the sudden death. No more tries, no more extra possibilities. Whoever wins that one wins the map, and, well, if Team Bliss do win out the next round, or rather this round, that's it. That's GG for the whole grand final. The BL3 will be wrapped up. A 2-0 victory for Team Bliss, but it wouldn't really tell the whole story of how close it did get to playing that third map.
Now, I mean, at the moment, we'll see Chloe go back to her basics, back to the smoke, arguably the best smoke in this competition.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
And she has
defused by
proved it
attackers.
time and time again. The hyper-aggressive FMG9 smoke to boot. Bar Gaming will be where they try and take us to double OT. But right now, I mean, Bliss, they're primed and ready to snatch this away.
Very much so. Setups for what could possibly be the last round. Would be big. Once again, introducing the Frost
10
to the
seconds
play.
remaining.
Chloe on the operator that she was able to pop off rather thoroughly. So is Batid.
5 seconds.
That'd be big. But BB right now,
Defenders' objective is to defuse
they're on the side that could very much still keep on bringing in the points. As long as players like Batid, like Chloe, like Fish Noodle would be allowed to keep up the play, keep up the scoring, this is where they could absolutely bring in the big upset. Panda. Minutes and 40 before we find the winner of what could possibly be the conclusion round.
Yeah. Well, right now, Bliss already in Snowmobile. They're looking to push up the stairs.
We are not protected.
They want to get themselves in a position to contest the side itself. Maverick on the cards, so we could even see that backstop contest.
Yeah, the stock contest could actually be very clean
Bring
one.
out the welcome mat.
But it seems like right now, he's always looking to make a play off the back of the fireplace stairs. See if maybe there's some form of the flank play that could really occur from there, or maybe the blue tunnel could be another work to play around. But no, yeah, it is in fact the stock play. Maverick angle is coming around. Perfect execution and the early frag. That's cheese out of the equation, which will be straight away prompting BB to start making the rotation to replace the player.
God, I love that angle. It's something we saw Kraken do a lot of over the last, 8 months or so. They love to play that angle when it comes to Chalet. They played it last year as well, and it's something that a lot of defending teams do. Forget about Maverick. Can open that up.
Just about enough range for that blowtorch to enable those sort of angles to be played, and quite frequently those do get expected, but no, this time unfortunately just way too much chaos did prompt for just maybe an ability to hear it. Well, the Jaeger, oh sorry, not the Jaeger, the Frost was on the cams as well, so I had a rather difficult time to really hear anything really from there. But in fact, well, Time for Power already takes quite a fair bit of damage, but he does open up the scoreline for her team.
Well, there's 4 fish noodles going down, caught at the library stairs. The swing too little, too late. Sam being hunted. The trade is there. 3 versus 2, currently in favour of Bliss. Soy about to drop the 20 bomb. In fact, so is Chloe. For the kill, looking for the swing on the Bearzity, but it's too little, too late. Yoshi shuts down 2,
Ooh.
and we're down to the 1 versus
1v1.
1. This could go to overtime. Sav is about to swing out. Chloe drops the 20 bomb here as we go full distance, double OT.
Ooh, full OT. And definitely an absolute treat that we do get to see here, Panda. On map number 2, looking very crisp. Now begs for a question: what if the first map was not Themepark? What could have been the end turnout for Team Bliss? Definitely, they are being tested here, especially with their general run. This is the ultimately the final round. Whoever does win this will either be winning the map or will be winning out the whole
Defenders,
championship
protect your
here
bombs
as
from being
well.
used by attackers.
Brain Esports on the cusp of at least upsetting the general sort of swing of things and the flawless run for Team Bliss, but not over yet, and it would provide quite a fair bit of boost for the run. But I mean,
Attackers
look at
have
this,
discovered
Chloe already
the
dropping the 20 bomb, certainly providing the goods.
Yeah. 20 bomb is impressive nonetheless. Even if they do fall short, that's a pretty big achievement in a grand final against a team of the caliber of Team Bliss. But
10
you don't
seconds.
want the consolation prize. You want the full victory here, of course. So
5
Big Brain
seconds
need
left.
one more to take us to bank the
Attackers are
decider
heading out
here
to
in the grand
defuse a
final.
bomb.
Bliss had the opportunity to shut it down, though.
This on the defensive side could certainly very much shut down here. The push by Big Brain Esports, certainly their defense felt a whole lot more cohesive in terms of just how they execute, how they play. Attack definitely felt a little bit more of a misadventure from them. And so for Sav's position here, she is a little bit isolated, so a coherent sort of push from the top and from the bottom could very much shut down the chances for the Jaeger player to make any sort of advancements. But as it stands, Fish Noodle looking to start opening up the floor. Maybe a cheeky C4 could end her run, but regardless of that, still looking to cause some ruckus to try to maybe get some sort of attention towards her to bait out a few of the swings.
Alright, well. Sav might hold up the push. Time for Pie. Only connects to one shot onto Fish Noodle before she herself falls. Unfortunately. Puts Bliss on the back foot here, trying to hold off the push, but it's these players offside. Are they aware of the positioning? Sav on this Jaeger. Good connect in a big way. Yoshi takes some big damage. Fish Noodle finally finished off as well. This is the opening that they're looking for, unfortunately, but the catches out Toy looking the wrong way. Too many angles to cover in that situation. Player advantage there for Big Brain, but you look at Yoshi. Has to commit the adrenal surge just to stay healthy at the minute. I mean, shots on here could finish things off.
Indeed, 3v4. BB players arguably having a whole lot more to play around in terms of the health department.
Cover me.
A few headshots here and there could be basically the end of it all.
Activating adrenaline
Here comes
surge.
the swing. Long angle for Sav to really play around, especially with a 1x optic. Would be problematic to really work around with. Butt feed down, but not out just yet. Could be big. Aussie does get the better of her with the shotgun as well. Plus, in comes the play. Yoshi does get the better of Aussie all of a sudden. 3v2.
Sav tucked in around the corner. This could be the opening. Here's the defuse going down. Jumps over and finished off. And it's all on Cass to clutch up. Here's the shots. Pings are on, but Yoshi whips the 180. And Big Brain are going to push us to the decider. We're going to bank.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Big Brain Esports do manage to pull it all out off the back of Team Bliss. Just unable to close out their rounds. Maybe it's the pressure. Maybe something else really been happening behind the scenes. But yeah, an 8-7 with a 20 bomb for Chloe does ensure that we are going to map number 3, Panda. This is quite a phenomenal turnout comparative to Themepark. Well, certainly this one will hurt the general sort of momentum and the confidence of Team Bliss, it seems.
8-7 lost there on Chalet. A trade of the map picks, Cthulhu. That is unfortunate. The girls on Bliss going to be kicking themselves a little bit there. They had the opportunity to close it out a couple of times. We are going now to bank, of course, and as a decider, I mean, it's something that we've been questioning. We put it to KT earlier, you know, how is the bank looking for Team Bliss? And look, we'll see. We'll see after a map like that.
Yeah, definitely starting to, question a little bit the confidence of Team Bliss going into map 3 because, that sort of a loss, given the circumstances that they were presented during the last few rounds of the overtime, I'll be honest, Team Bliss certainly not feeling too particularly hot tonight.
Well, I mean, look, maybe that's the case. We went to Chalet. It's not a particularly hot map. In fact, it's ice cold going into it. Maybe that's what Big Brain needed to reset things, not to mention Chloe. And a massive, massive fragging performance from her in that second map. Now, though, we go to our decider. We're off to bank. We're going to throw it to a break. When we come back, we look to see just how things will go in this decider and who will actually walk away with the championship crown here in Season 8. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Two maps down, one to go, Cthulhu. And this one, it's do or die. It has reset the scales, as it were. And it is now all or nothing here in our final map. An 8-7 victory for Big Brain against Team Bliss. I mean, taking a map off Team Bliss this season is, if nothing else, a massive achievement.
Absolutely, yeah. Already, it's quite a huge turnout for BBE. And yeah, look, Bank, I definitely can't put my finger on it as to what is going to happen here, Panda. Because on one side, I mean, you have Bliss that just felt like they were not taking Chalet to the fullest, potential that they could. Because I mean, you look at a number of
you can say seriousness.
Look, I'm trying to be, all calm and collected here, but look, some of the rounds definitely felt like a little bit questionable here from them, where obviously it was a good opportunity for BBE to absolutely emphasize on and, completely shut down their opponents. But yeah, definitely felt like Bliss either not in the right sort of mindset today, or just flat out just deciding to go for those flashy montage plays. Who knows at this point? But Bank will be the final one for us to play out. All of the advantages have been now nullified, reset, and rendered non-existent. This is the one to really win out.
That's exactly it. I mean, you got to go the full distance here. You want to bring your absolute A game. It doesn't help Bliss at all. I think that Chloe is hitting the shots that she is. So she's looking sharp. She's looking dangerous. As good as Soy was, I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't enough for Bliss to pick up the win there. So going into Bank, I would argue that again that you coming into this matchup, you'd say Bliss were the favorite ones to win it. I think we're even 50-50 at the moment after 2 performances like that.
Very much so, yeah. Very much so. BBE now coming into Bank, definitely now feeling a whole lot more prepared in terms of just how they have been executing their plays, the way how, yeah, again, Chloe has been playing. She's been on an absolute heater. So it's good to see that, you know, we now are on that sort of even ground between the two rosters where both of the players, well, not both of the players, sorry, both of the teams could really outperform each other and could really throw in a spanner in the works of each other. So, yeah, look, with Bank being, I get a feeling that this is going to be still relatively more so just whoever performs better on the defense will come out the winner. But with how vast Bank is, this should provide us with a whole lot more understanding of just which team can be a little bit more mobile.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting. We saw a very dynamic shift. You know, I was saying Big Brain much better on the defense than they were on the attack. We got to see Big Brain bring some real heat on the attack on Chalet. So coming into this map, if Chloe can get her hands on the Nook once again, especially given that they start on the attack here, that could be quite a decent start to the map for them.
Very much so, yeah. Look, getting a defensive start for Team Bliss, this is going to be a huge opportunity for them, despite the fact that, yeah, look, Chalet defense didn't really bode out as much as they would have wanted, another sort of 3-3 sort of trade-off. But absolutely, yeah, for Bank, for Bliss, this is, we definitely, at least I would be definitely expecting for Bliss to get a good early momentum for themselves and then try to hold off sort of their, or rather hold their ground once they do go onto the attack. On the side of BBE, look, I mean, I'm expecting sort of like either the variation of something like a Glass, something like a Nook to come out from Chloe, and then for the rest of the team to sort of follow suit to try to kind of be the enabler for Chloe to be the big fragger.
Yeah, I mean, it also would definitely feel like maybe Buddha, but Theed, as we know and love her, has showed up in a big way. I mean, her being the difference maker coming into this matchup. She wasn't there in map 1, they lost it. Was there in map 2, they won it. So maybe just the lucky charm that the team needs coming into this matchup, as we are momentarily about to get into Bank, of course. I mean, I think you talked about it. The Glaz, they're not coming into play. Chloe, definitely going to be the linchpin on the attack. I mean, if she could set herself up for a decent Glaz hold on those repels, this is a map that well and truly enables it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, the Glaz holds could be really, really beneficial. I mean, even just bringing in the Kali even here. Kali, where you're bringing in anyone with a DMRs could be able to shut down quite a lot of rotation potential, especially when the teams are playing around sort of either the tellers and the archives or playing around the CEO office and meeting room as well. So, yeah, there's plenty ground to really cover with the long-range weaponry, and I certainly think that players like Chloe could really thrive here. So, look, I mean, I'm definitely quite curious how could that really work out, because whilst I'd still say that probably in terms of cohesion, Bliss would have the better attack, but with the way how BBE were looking to play, they always played for that a little bit more of an overmatch. When they were going for the full-on either 4-player or full-on 5-player push, and kind of from there on, they were able to at least be able to sort of trade frags.
And as we head into our very own Money in the Bank match, Cthulhu, it is all on the line here. Do or die, win or lose. There are no do-overs. There are no safety nets. You either walk away the champions here in Season 8, or you walk away holding the silver. Which, I mean, look, it's still some decent cash. It's still not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but you've come this far as Big Brain. Why not strike for the crown?
Exactly. So, Nook being banned out in the early stages definitely will be quite a bit of an upset from Team Bliss, as yeah, BBE definitely not happy about that one. But it's a very valid ban, given just how powerful Nook was in the hands of Chloe. It's a very good idea to really get her out of the equation. And, well, from there on possibly put at least one of the big performers of BBE into a bit more of a shakier position where you can't really go for those sneaky plays, you can't really go for those flanks, which consecutively could result in the fact that BBE will be returning back to the sort of similar form that was on the Themepark.
Indeed, and we see the Mirror Valkyrie combo banned out, which I mean leaves us Army, leaves the Pulse, it leaves so many options. I mean, Mozzie going to be in play coming into this matchup. There is a lot available that could be quite deadly. I mean, you look at the Flores, there is so much that could really pose a threat. You can see Chloe already hovering the glass.
Yeah. Glass being introduced certainly should be able to allow still Chloe to
Attackers need to
perform,
locate and defuse bombs.
as she's looking to bring in a little bit more stability. But interestingly to me, that the moment Flores has been enabled, has been allowed, instantly being picked by BBE, fully acknowledging how impactful it could be in terms of just the utility, in terms of the general sort of clear out the utility as well. So from BBE, I'm definitely rating this sort of play, but I say that, well, Chloe introducing the Maverick this time and the introduction of the Jackal as well. So they're looking to try to just lock Team Bliss players in one place and then get to fragging two players. Never mind, one player with the frag grenades. And yeah, quite curious how will Big Brain continue their run.
Unfortunately, no glass. But, I mean, the Maverick coming into this, for the site that we have to kick things off, I mean, not the upgrade that I would have thought, that I would have expected us to see, but, I mean, Chloe's already proved that it doesn't matter what gun she has in hand, she's going to be able to put it to work.
Very much so, yeah. Chloe has been exceptionally great on the gunfight potential and on the gunfight play, sporting the M4, but Soy is so far being the sole roamer upstairs, I believe it, or at least around the front desk / meeting room area, looking to try to cause some havoc.
It's like one of those delayed reaction videos that unfortunately can't fire, gonna fall almost immediately. Soy answers back with a kill on the butt lead. Gonna rotate down into main lobby here, finding a better position to hold from. Has support coming in as well. Does skirt away from danger, and that is your Flores off the board, which, I mean, I'd take that trade, honestly, if I was Blizz.
The trades would be rather impactful, yeah. Without the Flores drones, things would get rather problematic. At least clearing out the entry points to the actual site. So for the time being, BBE are just looking to find just a different entry point, given that the top floor push hasn't really netted a whole lot of great results. But right now, try to maybe assault the Archives position. Could provide a really good position to really go in for the swings. Interestingly enough, they're not really particularly aware of the position around the Archives area. But in reality, Cass, perfect hold and play around what the Maverick holds that are the double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's not just a one-way angle, unfortunately, as Big Brain will find out. You can see more of them opening up for Cass. If she could make them go and work for herself once again. I mean, you can see Chloe trying to figure it out. Unfortunately, the flashbang is not going to hit its mark and allow Soy to relocate to a better position, playing through the hatches with her teammates. 27 seconds left. Not an ideal situation. You can see Big Brain are going to have to force the issue here, trying to set up some more angles, and Cass might be able to find some heads. Chloe goes down, hanging around too long, and the team can do naught but watch, stare, rotate through those unfortunate positions. Fish Noodle has to pop the castle barricade, and Cass sitting and waiting to receive.
Well, that's one heck of a way to close out the first round on Bank. Team Bliss certainly managing to get themselves all done and dusted. Here, at least open up the scoreline into their favor to move on to the second side, which now looking to be lockers and CCTV room. introduction of Works could be a rather interesting one, specifically for Cass. Given that I think we frequently see Cass to really go for
Defenders, protect your bombs from
big
being
sets of home plays, but sure enough, Works does also introduce quite a lot of possibilities and abilities to open up good big rotation holes as well. So could be possibly seen using to be used for that very case. On the side of BBE, I mean, I think it's far a bit of a rough turnout as it seems like just far too many holes far too many angles to really try to just contest and challenge, but no real value to come out of that, which the end results in, well, just getting a little bit overwhelmed with the, sort of the abundance of angles and abundance of positions to really keep an eye out for.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Time to fight. Looking to do some work. Looking to be an unknown factor here on the defense. Trying to skirt around, but feed back on the Flores. Yoshi bringing in the finger, identifying that some of those gunfights did actually come quite close, and the adrenal surge could be the difference maker.
Adrenal surge could be big, but with Yoshi out of the equation, it doesn't really assist in anything apart from her own demise. Good hold though by Aussie though. The rest of the team so far, as well, despite the initial pressure, things certainly still end up falling into favor of Team Bliss. Frag grenade is out, only to just try to clear out one of the few positions that will have to be contested once anyone decides to jump in through that window. But it seems like, well, Vision decides at least for the better of it to back out. Soy does get the better of Chloe as well, and you know, all of a sudden this is looking like a much more revitalized Team Bliss.
I get the feeling that KT may have lit a bit of a fire under her teammates during that break between maps 2 and 3, because they are firing on all cylinders. I mean, you look at it right now, 2 more kills, and Big Brain have been shut down. They've got a single kill now heading towards the end of the second round here.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped.
A very convincing, very quick entry into the, well, Archives does provide only the death for Bathid, getting all down to cheese. Try to do really anything to get any sort of swings happening, but as it stands here, not a whole lot of opportunities are being opened up. Looking to try to once again contest the rotation hole. Does find the shots, but not enough to get it down. Aussie, the UMP 45 demon, able to absolutely dominate the open area in the admin office.
Indeed. 2 rounds, 2 victories. Rather decisive ones at that. Going into the third, executive CEO. I mean, it's an interesting trajectory on this site, Cthulhu. You look at back when it was first introduced to comp, but it was the most loathed site for players in comp. Now teams are just, they're quite happy to go here. They're quite happy to contest it.
Very much so. As so far,
locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Much more dominant sort of defense from Team Bliss. What felt rather like a completely in shambles Team Bliss on the defense back at Chalet. Back so far, at least in the first 2 rounds, has been certainly looking very much promising that they are back into their sort of usual expected form. That'll be great Esports though. Sort of get out the street one out for them, given that it's on Cheese and Chloe to be able to score any sort of frag, any sort of openings for themselves. And now looking to switch over to the glass that we were sort of in the first round.
10 seconds to
go.
go.
The big, you know, ready to really hold off against quite a number of swings. Here's what now will really come out of it, given that
attackers are
good game of players now back into the swing of things.
Well, play gets underway. You can see, just checking the cams, Cass looking for info on where the entry will be made into the building. They do get some big info off it to boot. So they have a decent understanding, it would seem, of the game plan, at least for the entry, to start this round off. And yeah, look, there's a genuine concern that there might be either a run out or an attempt at peeking through the main lobby windows.
Adding some protection from grenades.
Got a bit of pressure and already Chloe does start going to town. Time for Pi out of the equation, and being able to cut off a huge amount of positions does provide quite a lot of view range here. Aussie running into possibly a risk of, well, running into the sights of the glass, and that could be a rather deadly result. As well as that, the beautiful thing about the thermal scope is it does sort of provide at least the confirmation that one of those alibi prisoners is, well, in fact, a prisoner, not just alibi, you know, trying to fake or trying to do some sort of a interesting swing. So, for the time being, well, for Chloe, as the already half a round has expired, maybe it's time to start trying to rendezvous with the rest of the team, or alternatively, it is looking to be more so kind of like a half-done flank watch.
Indeed. Right up the board. I mean, Themepark has been a pretty big player so far, but Theed, though, sneaking away and looking to go for that plant if she can. Soy shuts down Cheese, but Theed is going to be able to secure the full defuse distance. But unfortunately, Aussie taken out before she can really get in position to contest Yoshi. Logic Bomb goes out, coverage of the MK14. Big shots on, and Chloe to boot. Yoshi holding things down. The keeper barricade, though, might present a hurdle. No, the team kill on the Kaz. Sav going to aggressively contest. Feeds Yoshi another kill. And it is a round on the board for Big Brain Esports.
Yeah, finally, Big Brain Esports do get on board with the points on bank before the unfortunate sort of momentum could be yanked away from them. So a 2-1 scoreline is still certainly in the realm of contention for Big Brain Esports to really make it work. Now comes the question of how will Team Bliss will be able to respond to this, because like we talked about prior to the start of the bank, it certainly looks like it's going to be a game of just who is able to hold out their defense a whole lot better than the other team. So Team Bliss already losing out on one of the rounds. Nothing too tragic just yet.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Good sort of thought pointing towards the fact that maybe they're getting too overly aggressive, and just the sheer abundance of the range angles that could be contested by BBE, plus with their usage of the EMRs, could be rather profitable here.
Indeed. Profitable, exactly. But this is an interesting switch up we see for Big Brain. The Jackal coming into play, given how expansive this map can be. And the Inox Scatter could definitely set themselves up to clear some of these real nuisance operators that Bliss are running.
Attackers are heading out to defuse
Here
a
is how
bomb.
this sort of lineup from BB will be able to work out. Last time we got to see the Jackal being brought out, wasn't really able to find a whole lot of leverage as it is, but maybe later down the line we could see this pre-placed C4 could be great at just shutting down the initial momentum towards those double doors, which in fact Fish Noodle could really run into, double triple checking as a matter of fact. Getting the entrance pre-fires there, certainly fully acknowledging about the C4 position.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen some big C4s so far in the grand finals. Good to see a push shutdown, especially on the Fish Noodle, who has copped a fair few of them so far. Wouldn't help the mental any little bit. You can see player main stairs there. Fish Noodle looking to try and establish some vert control up above. A lot of aggressive swings here. And Soy the first to fall, but Theed again warming up.
In fact, yeah, but Theed's certainly starting to look a little bit more comfortable, although we say that it's only been just the first frag found. Oh, Aussie finding two really big targets. Does light up Chloe, but that is just about the extent of what could have been done there with the UMP's slow rate of fire. There's not enough of it to really get any sort of damage to be dealt, or any sort of big issues to start compounding. A few more shots starting to get the clip, but as or rather the exchange. Oh, Aussie still able to fall back amidst all of those crossfires. Certainly does feel rather magical there for a brief moment.
I mean, Aussie, luckily, not having the info we had, I think if she'd had known that there were players rushing at her like that, she probably would have been tilted a little bit. It may have gone down, but no, plays herself safely out of danger. You can see that this Flores drone already going to work, trying to open up some of those barricades. Look at it expose the site, but Themepark tucked in does have that little close angle to potentially play around.
So yeah, Themepark could certainly be the big player once again. This cast that is actually playing close by to the wall. Aussie on the flank as well. This could be a huge opportunity here. Smokes are coming out. In comes the damage and the denial of the breach as well. Perfect turnout, but the hunt is also there, fully sprinting away from there. Aussie being an absolute nuisance to deal with.
Attackers recovered the
Feeling as
diffuser.
she's running away, knowing full well that she should be dead by all rights. And yeah, Fish Noodle acknowledges that this could be very bad.
15 seconds
Cass
to go.
tucked in around the corner, waiting for the push. Free fire's not good enough. Fish Noodle
10
lives,
seconds remaining.
but not for long. And it's on Chloe. She's walked her way in, does not have control, and the relocate successful, and we'll find the kill too.
Which that did get a little bit dangerous there for a brief moment. As Chloe's entrance could have gotten rather quick and rather explosive for Team Bliss to handle. But as it stands, a 3-1 scoreline now, looking a lot more promising already. A 3-pointer basically now settled in for Team Bliss, which will ensure that no actual point advantage could be gained against them in the first half, but the second half could certainly
Attackers
be
need to
turned
locate
around
and
rather
defuse
quickly
as many
if
bombs as
they
they
won't be
can.
too careful. And at the lineup though, introducing the Zafia for Yoshi, looking to get back to the sort of the soft breaching pitch. As I say that though, straight away the choice back
Attackers have
to
located
the
a bomb.
Iana to try to maybe get a little bit more of the information, plus the introduction of the secondary heart breacher will be certainly welcomed here for the Big Brain Esports, purely for the fact that, well, for the site like the lockers and the CCTV room, you would need that extra heart breaching utility to just make sure that you open up all of the avenues for the entry.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Aussie Princess
Ready, set.
having
Bullshit
decent
deployed.
games
5
so far.
seconds to insertion.
Ironically, all on the
Proximity alarm
castle.
deployed.
And arguably having a stunner of a
Attackers
game
are
so
moving to
far.
defuse a
This is
bomb.
not the numbers you're expecting a castle to put up with the UMP. But regardless, definitely helping the team keep it together here. 3-1 lead, but then still on the defense.
Swapping
Still open up. She's doing work and finding kills. It's very impressive.
Absolutely, yeah. This has been so far a stellar game from her. Just being that sort of a very well self-sustaining unit right now. I mean, you look at the sheer amount of heat that is about to come her way. Full-on swing about to come around, but it's Yoshi actually just with her clone coming around as Fish Noodle is just looking to try to get the few pre-fires. Nothing too serious just yet, but if that was a real player, not a clone, it could have gone a completely different way because Yoshi had Aussie there dead to rights.
Yeah. Indeed. Aussie has gotten away with a lot so far this map, and I think she will continue to do so, as it just seems that Big Brain haven't cottoned on to the play. The drone there. Is she going to be able to get out? Soy finds the first, but no, Aussie may have baited the play. Unfortunately for her, Yoshi is just a little bit quicker on the trigger. So a 1-for-1 castle for a sledge. I think that is well and truly good for Bliss.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially getting rid of the sledge that is the set of the frag grenades out of the equation. Obviously, there's still Yoshi as Iana, but regardless of that, Cass actually right now has a perfect opportunity for the flank. So is time for Pi. They have a whole lot of potential here to just absolutely upset, but there is a held position just outside of the archives being pushed in, now spotted on that push. Cass knows about the presence of Zafia.
Attackers bomb.
Shots on, Soy, always good for another. Not slowing down the pressure whatsoever. That's not a great position for
Attackers have
Chloe to be
recovered
at
their
in the
diffuser.
final minute. She's relocating towards main lobby, you can see, and it's a long way to cover to try and get in a position to execute onto the site right now. Might even be that dirt tunnel push, it would seem. They've got the hatch, open up above, but the looking to put these Roteros to use, but you got 4 players, so you're 2 now as Soy finds a triple in the round. Might even be on for the ace. In fact, it's a long rotate from Chloe all the way through to the parking garage to come in for that flank.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, while this does leave Bethede all on her lonesome, but this opens the opportunities to try to maybe get a bit of a split sort of play from the defense as well to catch them off guard. But right now the pre-fire does leave a position, sprinting into the shot as well. That's a quad for Soy. As time for Pi does fall, maybe Soy will be able to get the ace, yeah.
She wants it. They're trying to feed the info
15
through.
seconds to go.
And without frag grenades, this Maverick is far less scary. And,
seconds left.
oh, come on, Soy, just send it. Go for the kill. He lines it up, and
5 seconds remaining.
Absolutely brutal. The swing shut down by Cass. No ace for Soy, unfortunately, but a very, very big round for Bliss nonetheless.
Exactly that, yeah. Bliss still managing to hold on to it pretty well. I mean, a 4-1 scoreline so far, certainly brings us quite a polarizing sort of turnout compared to even Chalet, bringing back the Themepark vibes. As for Big Brain Esports, yeah, look, things are certainly rather dire, not being able to really catch a whole lot of players off guard with the fact that just how elusive Aussie so far has been on the castle. That, like I mentioned before, a very good self-sustaining sort of player in Team Bliss.
Bomb located by attackers.
Keeps it nice and crispy so far. Chloe once again brings out the glass. Last time we got to see this lineup, it was that point for Big Brain Esports to score. So possibilities of a 4-2 scoreline and the first half are certainly out there. And that is going to be the best sort of case scenario for Big Brain Esports as well, to start off their own defense and to have only just a 2-round, well, disadvantage or deficit to really catch up on.
10 seconds to insertion.
Wow. Whether or not it works,
5 seconds left before insertion.
on them, of course. I think last time it was a lot of Bliss misplays that culminated in the Big Brain round. I mean, the team kill most notably of all, but there were still some very, very scary angles that they were able to set up onto Bliss.
Exactly that. There's still a plethora of scenarios that could really happen here. If it is, though, going to be a 5-1 scoreline to wrap up the first half, this could definitely start putting a little bit more of the frustration towards Brain Esports. Obviously, with this being the last map, whoever wins this basically wins the grand final. So the possibility of nerves to be at all times high is certainly there. But as it stands for now, we are going towards the push towards the second floor. Bliss already calling a tech pause after this round, so certainly it seems like a few technical issues starting to arise, maybe one of those sound bugs.
Tech pause is an issue, you just need to turn your music down, Aussie. Come on. I know you're getting hype, I know you're getting excited, but there's no need to be blasting Eurobeat in your ears that loudly. Right now, you can see good ground being taken here by Big Brain to get themselves up on the second floor. Want to get some angles to try and contest. Buddha as well, with the Rotero drones already sending it deep. You can see that Kiba barricade as well being cleared out.
Very much so, yeah. Already a good amount of Rotero drones have been dedicated already. Aussie being pressured very nicely. Good pre-fire as well. Getting the shot through the wall as well onto the castle player. Now making the player deficit in the very early stages of the round as well, which will be allowing a good buffer for Big Brain Esports to keep on pushing, keep on progressing towards the site. But from the safety of the roof, is able to keep on sending in the Rotero drones to keep on just isolating and opening up some of the more opportunities. Scouted out the janitor's closet, knowing full well that nobody is there. So that is the position where it could get pushed very quickly.
Oh, but the absolutely slammed, slapped, tucked in and put them in. What a shot from Soy, holding fast there. Second floor landing, rotates back, wants to get the safe reload off, knows full well that there is a Glaz reaping havoc across the front side of the building, but Sav will spot that wall going up. Logic bomb to go out as well. So there might just be a little bit of extra audio info going the way. And Big Brain Chloe trying to get herself in the main lobby. Will pop the wall. Barricade, rather. Has the bearing 9 in hand. Looking to clear the cameras out, but too little too late. Already been dealt with. She's going to have to try and push in and provide the support. Peas goes down. Sav with the 9mm. The pings. It's going to be the flank in, but it's the contested. No one. Time for pie. Says my TMR's better. And Yoshi. All she can do is look helplessly from outside.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, look, I think, yeah, little bit of bug. She can't go anywhere. Unfortunate. It is what it is. Yeah, she's just gonna go. No bug, no chance. Left alone to herself in the zombie apocalypse. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, not much it seems. Rather, well, unfortunate result there for the first half, as the 5-1 is there. We are going to go for a quick pause as we do get back on the cameras. But yeah, look, Panda, a 5-1 scoreline for Team Bliss, certainly looking like they are looking to just wrap it all up, just count it in and say, well, okay, we all had our own fun. It's time to finish up this grand final. Whereas on the side of BBE, it feels like a little bit of a heartbreak, let's be honest, because from what felt like in the grand scheme of things, like more so like a warm-up game for them on the theme park, into a full overtime Chalet, and now to be 5-1 in the first half on Bank feels like quite a stark contrast.
Yeah. I mean, a slow start in map 1 that then turned into an absolute heater in map 2. And it maybe is feeling just a little bit like Big Brain committed too much energy to that second map. They've now, unfortunately, run out of a bit of steam as they go down 5-1 in the half. Bliss about to head onto the attack. You got to hope, you do. You got to hope that Big Brain East, their defense coming into Bank is solid.
Absolutely. Plus, I mean, we've been talking about this in the pre-show as well, that, with the playoffs in general, the BO3 format is something that not frequently being played within Women's League, given that the whole of the regular season is all BO1s. So the question of endurance certainly does come around here.
Well, from the sounds of it, we are going to throw it to a short break while we get this tech issue sorted. When we come back, we'll look to the second half of Bank. We'll be back very, very soon. Sorted. I told you it was going to be a quick one, Cthulhu. We're back into it. We keep things short and swift here. Those full well stakes are about as high as they could possibly be. Getting into the round, though, you look at it. Team Bliss have a 4-round buffer. And on the defense, there is a lot of fire coming in for their setup.
Exactly. I mean, the Goyo, the Chunker, plus the smokes are off. Yoshi as well could be meaning a lot and a lot of potential to play for that time game and to be able to hold off the point. And I mean, on top of it all, this is still looking like a very much of a hunker down sort of setup from BBE. They're not really looking to do a whole lot of expansion bar, opening up quite a few of the rotation holes, but this could, to a certain degree, actually play into the hands of Team Bliss, because this could open up a lot of free real estate to take for them and subsequently allow quite a lot of avenues to really be opened up. Because, I mean, at least I didn't really spot yet any sort of big expansion towards the vault, so say a vault rush through the hatch could be big.
Toy full standing through lobby with the cover of the EE1D. It's an aggressive push on as the Chimera duo in play for Bliss here in round number 7. You can see they're wasting absolutely no time in getting in aggressively and early. The pulse, though, the answer back could enable Big Brain to slow something down, but no, the goes down early. Contested from the main lobby with that G36, and Bliss are showing no signs of stopping.
Doesn't look like it, yeah. Absolutely looking to keep on pushing, to keep on playing, keep on swinging as well. And I mean, with Soy spearheading the push with the suppressed G36C, be a rather dangerous venture, given that the most recent changes to the suppressor, they don't anymore take away the damage as well. So, scary piece of weaponry and piece of utility in the hands now of basically each and every operator. But as it stands, Cass now looking to try to rendezvous with the rest of the roster, as Goyo has been spotted on the player of the top stairs.
Still got a lot of their stall available to them in the form of the Goyo, the Tachanka, and the smoke as well. So they could look to just stall this one out and play it off the utility. The Shamika grenades, the Vulcan jet packs, and toxic canisters are pretty potent utility individually. When compiled with the other two, it's just a deadly combo.
Exactly that. Already quite a fair bit of utility being exchanged with which could possibly start flying in. Visionable falls. So down to the 3 defenders of BBE, looking to try to just hold off for as long as they can possibly done. As the majority of the players actually playing around the main stairway and the garage, but I say that still quite a fair few of the rotational positions. Not a whole lot of pressure from Team Bliss. With 40 seconds remaining, this could be a grave mistake that Bliss couldn't make it.
I mean, Big Brain again play this almost perfectly if they want to bring it back. A 2-player disadvantage. They're going to have to hit their shots. They're going to have to make sure the utility works. E1D goes out. There are 3 players heading towards the service stack. Looking to execute Shamika. Grenade does go out. Soy falls to Chloe, who's looking in to try and provide the cutoff. And they are backs against the wall. You can see the push in, though, successful. Aussie looking for that plant. Toxic Canister has to relocate her. Time for Pi. Going deep. The cutoff. Yoshi will win that gunfight. The plant attempt is there. The shield. The rotate. It's going to be big from Yoshi. The plant goes down, but no. Presented to Aussie. Sav will burn to death. And it is suddenly down to the 1 versus 2 in the post plant. And we are getting the ring around the rosy. Chloe above. Can she find the angle? And no, look at this rotate. Jeez. Caught, look at the wrong direction, and it's on Chloe clutch up right now. The shield there allows the rotate deep. For Aussie, Chloe, what a headshot though. Will find the kill and get the defuse.
Oh man, that was a spicy one from the plant being missed out on to Chloe just flicking over to the head of the Hibana. Big Brain Esports, despite what looked like a lost cause of a round, managed to really bring it all back, courtesy of Chloe once again. 5-2. Now the 4-round buffer is starting to turn into 3 from there on out. Well, we've seen how quickly can Big Brain Esports really reclaim the points here, so could be a rather dangerous venture, but I mean, still a phenomenal turnout though from Team Bliss with the way how they nearly managed to scrape the round into their favor.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
That would have been a nail in the block, more than likely, if that had been a Bliss round. But Big Brain, they hold on, and they head upstairs.
So far, it just has been very much of a back and forth sort of game here between the 2 rosters. Big Brain Esports certainly not out of this yet. We're talking about the endurance game. Whilst, yes, a few of the positions have been sort of slowly starting to give in, but
10 seconds left.
as it stands, they're still able to fight back and fight back very thoroughly.
5 seconds left.
Yoshi 7-6 so far, been leading the charge with Chloe slowly but surely starting to wake up on the defense as well. Looking pretty clinical. ACS and 12 in hands as well. Could be able to at least contest some of the longer range gunfights.
Deploying ADS.
Yes, 12. We'll see if it does turn out to be the gun needed here to change the change the tide.
Diffuser has been dropped.
But I see the M762 coming out for time for Pi once again.
Attackers
Soy
recovered the
and
bomb
Aussie
diffuser.
both putting up big numbers. I mean, it just feels like we're at the tipping point, that precipice, and unfortunately, Big Brain may not be too far from tipping over.
Yeah, look, certainly be a big possibility here. Once again, Soy attempting to pretend at least to be the Nook, but with just a slightly bigger gun. Might just be able to run into one of the defenders, yeah, but Theed once again shut down, fully well read into the fact that even before she was playing around the sort of the bottom floor to be able to get those flanks. Not anymore, that's the case. Frag grenade to go out. That should be able to clear out the positions. No, false or bad grenade. This time should be able to go in. No, gets eaten up as well. 2 of the frag grenades completely denied as the yet another ADS, I believe, just, oh no, doesn't even clear it out. Yeah, Bliss whiffing 4 grenades so far onto just clearing out 1 position. That is a lot of utility wasted on basically nothing.
KT likely gonna be feral in the back lines after that.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, that is something else indeed. And they're no closer to getting things open. They're just gonna have to straight force onto the side. This is unfortunate.
Reloading!
Very much so. Unfortunate indeed for Team Bliss, but very fortunate for Big Brain. Because right now, this is going to be a prime opportunity for them to get the play going, keeping the fact that Bliss are currently operating on basically, well, blind basis. I say that though, Kaz still is able to frag out and get the better of Chloe as well. Some more damage being dished out. Soy is just unstoppable here, it seems.
No slowdown whatsoever. And Bliss are going to move on to map. And grand finals point with a flawless here, Cthulhu. 1 round. And it is all Bliss.
It is all Bliss indeed, Panda. 1 more round is all that is left, but timeout has been requested here by Big Brain Esports once again, looking to try to recover themselves as match point achieved by Bliss means no more opportunities for the fails or for the errors for Big Brain Esports. The scoreline itself does reflect on how things really went down. Unfortunately for players like Butty, just shut down way too many times, especially on the defense. Things are not looking particularly too favorable, unable to find that sort of the right groove, the right swing of things. And yeah, look, definitely a scary situation.
Most definitely. Most definitely. At the minute, there is a lot that could come of this, but with Big Brain not allowed to make a single mistake, and with Butty shut down the way that she has been, this is looking dire.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely looking dire here for BBE. They'll have to make it basically a flawless run if they want to even get remotely close to having the ability of, well, contesting for the first place. But at this stage, yeah, things are certainly not looking good. Although they are playing for the top floor. This time, though, it is BBE that will have to hold on to, as they managed to attack both of the times on this map so far pretty well in a very well organized manner. But as I say this, well, 1 round did go their way, the other one unfortunately faltered right as they decided to make an entry onto the site. So let's see how they will be able to fare on the defense of this very same site, because this will very much decide how they're able to, well, how long will they be able to stay in this match?
Yeah.
Attackers'
Well,
objective is to locate
here it
a
is,
bomb and defuse it.
Cthulhu. Big Brain, they need to start the campaign now. They need to bring it back 4 rounds to do so. They can't do it here, it doesn't matter any further. They gotta bring the A game, they gotta bring the heat.
Right, so to ensure that they are doing their due diligence here and just making sure that they are nailing each and every one of their plays, each and every one of their advances.
Diffuser has been dropped.
Casto
Attackers recovered the
looking
bomb
to
diffuser.
ensure that at least one of the first avenues opened up. It seems like they are going to try the very same approach that they've done last round, which could be a good opportunity here. This time expansion towards the eastern stairs should allow a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more cover as well, given that we are not seeing at all any sort of advancement by Team Bliss towards the eastern side of the bank, which once again opens up good free real estate. No hunt of Buttheed as well in the early stages, which would also allow a lot of progression for BBE to work around. As oh hello, that's a castle spotted.
Well, it actually goes down, Soy. Trying to get another opener here, Cthulhu. She's had a stunner game on the attack as well. Push it through has really just been the wedge that drives home and undoes this defense.
Attackers dropped the bomb diffuser.
1 down, 4 more to go for Bliss to secure the first place.
Attackers have
That
located
would
a
be
bomb.
one heck of a way to wrap it all up, as there's such a nail-biter of series back on Chalet. This one is looking a whole lot more dominant from them. I say that time for Pioneer loses her head.
Trying to claim someone else's, unfortunately, not working the way she would have wanted. But you can see the positioning. You can see where Bliss already are to try and contest this. They've gotten threats of up in front of the bomb site. I mean, the fact that they're this close and they're not being stopped. Soy, another claim for her. So, Savage right there on the precipice of the site itself. Zoe finally going down to but then, in fact, 2 kills going back the way of Big Brain. But there's only 2.5 players alive for the team and 3 to Bliss. Aussie, though, not anywhere near where she could be effective. Has to desperately jump inside and join up with the rest of the team. This banana push, not as successful or fruitful as they would have liked. Cass cops some punishment. They now need to make that execute successful. 1 outside on the rappel, 2. Prime ready to come in through the front door. 15 seconds remaining. They've got to pull the trigger here. Cthulhu, they've got to make it work. They might just speed it to the meat grinder. Aussie takes some damage. Slowing the push down, but Theme claims Cass. This might be yet another round for Big Brain. Aussie for 1. Needs more, but can't put down on the ground. Time for 5. Cannot get inside before the clock runs out. And it will be still another round there for Big Brain Esports.
That's it, yeah. Big Brain Esports not really going out quietly. 3 to 6. They're getting closer and closer. But Locust TV Room is going to be the next one. After a bit of a retry, Big Brain Esports were able to nail their performance. But only for CCTV, the last time this site was held, it was in a very it concluded in a very spectacular way, which did start off for Chloe's possible run with the suppressed UMP on Pulse as well. So, look, if Big Brain Esports do decide to bring out the very similar sort of lineup, we could see a bit of a more accelerated push, I reckon, from Team Blue at the moment they realize that the setups looking to be rather in a similar fashion. Maybe a cheeky, Suez push, and kind of from there on try to take a foothold around the server. But even then, you can't really allow yourself to get stalled out, because as long as Team Bliss can open up a few more avenues for the push, this is where things could really get escalated. But with Big Brain Esports, yeah, look, at least in terms of the lineup, they are certainly looking for the most of it in a similar way, minus the fact that no more Goyo, but an introduction of the Legion.
Coming in to bear to try and bring something a little bit extra to the team. Whether or not, of course, it will be successful, we're probably about to find out, in all honesty. But, I mean, that was such a close round. It looked like they were going to be able to make the push. This time, though, there's extra information available. Soy, for the last couple of rounds, has been the opener for this team, so she needs to do that once again.
Again, needs to be the one to just keep on forcing those sort of engagements to happen in her favor, but already spotted out with the cardiac sensor. One of the attackers will be already spotted, at least on the general sort of approach. This could be the big tool in the toolkit of BB and Chloe as well. Quite a fair bit of information has been relayed about the general sort of approach, but they'd still hanging around the server area. But as long as Fish Noodle is able to hold on to her position, this is where things could get rather interesting, because the last time we got to see quite a quick sort of push towards a number of positions, including the surface stairs. But right now, the play around the vault hatch could be a bit of a scary one.
Good indeed. And the heat very much there right now on this sensor from Chloe. Feeding so much info to the team. They know that Soy wants to get down and dirty in the vault, but I don't know if the support that they're hoping she did cast there as the hatch gets popped as well. There are just so many avenues into the site right now.
Very much so. Ready with Fish Noodle getting the better of Sav and backing away straight away. This does prompt us for possible yet another BB round. I say that though, Cass does get the better of Fish Noodle, clears out the position. Now, able to have full control over the hatch, we'll be splitting up potentially the two sides, or at least the control over the A side. This is not looking particularly too pretty. With 41 seconds remaining, this could be yet another very problematic round to deal with. I say that nails an absolute stunner of a shot. Time for Pi getting the better of Butt Team.
Stay back.
That's exactly the sort of kill that you're looking for to open up the side. Buddha and Fish Noodle remove. They've still got some utility, but Aussie, the drop down into service, start opening things up with 20 seconds remaining. They are going to have to try and clear out some of this utility. The Shmika grenades going off as well. They don't have a safe plant spot either. I think they're gambling on getting behind the bomb chassis. No, Aussie's going deep on the reinforcement. Cass and Soy find 2. Aussie on for the plant, and she's left alone. DB27 comes out. Needs to hit everything, but no, Soy cuts deep between the sights, and Team Bliss will win Season 8 here, unstoppable as they are.
There we go. A 7-3 wrap-up upon us as Bliss, apart from a few hiccups here and there on Bank, do manage to close it out in a rather dominant fashion. Do it pretty well. And a valiant effort from the Big Brain Esports roster, but unfortunately second place is all that they could get at the end of the day. But still, regardless of that, a phenomenal turnout. As, yeah, that does wrap up the grand final.
Oh boy. I mean, there are several moments there where it could have gone any which way in the close of it. Cthulhu 7-3 in the end. They deny any sort of shenanigans, any chance at the overtake. And I mean, look, you wanna make them work for it, but look, that second map probably a little bit closer than I think Team Bliss would have liked, but they get the job done in the third.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, after a little bit of a bit of a scare, I guess, for them on Chalet, they managed to all wrap it all up. Congratulations, Team Bliss, being able to take out the win at the end of it all. So very, very nicely done. And congratulations. I'm sure KT as well will be rather happy about the end result, given that allegedly she has to wake up at 5 a.m. already.
She can finally breathe again. She's been holding her breath since the third round, trying to keep it together. But there you have it. Season 8, the Unstoppable Women's League goes the way of Bliss. They claim the title. And a very valiant effort from them this season as well. I mean, Big Brain, though, you can't really discount what they were able to put up tonight. Unfortunately, there just wasn't enough left in the tank after that second map for them to keep going.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, it definitely felt like, the endurance game felt like it a little bit betrayed their BBE at the end of all things, but it was still, I gotta give it to them. It was a very solid, very valiant effort from them, and definitely quite an improvement comparative to some of the previous seasons. So certainly on the up and come as well. But look, as it stands, Team Bliss, still continue the run, managed to take out yet another title, albeit this time with a little bit more of a scare. No more of the flawless sort of run, as unfortunately from them already one map has been taken away, but they still managed to wrap up the season in the first place.
Yeah, look, they do it in true Bliss fashion. They don't take themselves too seriously. They get the job done in the end, but at least they have a good time doing it. And look, unfortunately, poor Yoshi and her shattered kneecaps. The team, look, Chloe put up such a massive effort in map 2. Boda finally showed up, and they, after that first map of not being there at all, it is not like I'm saying she had a poor performance. She just wasn't there. So she finally gets in. She puts up a show. Unfortunately, they weren't able to bring it back. But I mean, that map 2 was spectacular siege on Chalet.
Oh, yeah. Chalet was definitely quite a treat for us to bear witness, given that this finally got to show the full kind of ability from BBE. It's shown that, Team Bliss are not, immortal in terms of just how they play in Women's League. They certainly can sort of be defeated. So it definitely worked out all very thoroughly for them at the end of the day. But yeah, BBE, I'm definitely keeping an eye out for them should they return in the next season.
Yeah, I'm definitely keen for it. So we do have a couple of interviews coming up to close out the season as well. But for right now, we're going to throw it to a break while we get those ready. So when we come back, we'll be able to chat to some of the lovely ladies here in the grand finals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Cthulhu, we have 2 of our champion squad of Team Bliss coming in for a bit of a chat. Hot off the back of a big victory here in Season 8. It's Aussie Princess and Cass. Ladies, how does it feel? Another great season from you girls. Bliss putting in the work. I mean, you guys had a phenomenal season.
Yes, we have. Thank you. Oh my goodness, that we were sweating. We were sweating a lot there. But
a lot.
Yeah, it feels great being giving Bliss their first championship for Women's League. So it's an achievement, I think.
Definitely quite an achievement. Look, run us through Chalet, because it was quite a quite a stark contrast comparative to Theme Park and sort of kind of what went wrong, I guess, is the big question, I guess, for you guys, for you girls.
I don't know what it is lately, but our attacks haven't been what we are used to, and what we normally do. So we're gonna fix that up in the off season. But I think we did well to bring it to max OT, and unfortunately, we just couldn't close out that defense round. But I think it was just communication. Everything we were a bit sloppy. Mistakes made, all that usual stuff, which we'll fix. It's fine. And then we came together for the bank map, and Katie gave us an amazing pep talk. So I would like to credit her for the bank. But we all came together and we did what we needed to do. We performed how we usually perform in scrims and in officials, and yeah, the communication was just so much better. Teamwork was just there. You can see the difference in the maps, I think. But yeah, Cass.
So now that we've had the scripted KT response that she gave you girls to say on stream, you know, I mean, what's it like having had her behind the scenes? Obviously, I'm assuming that the reason we went to 3 maps is because that you knew that she had a flight early in the morning and you wanted to make her suffer.
Pretty much.
I mean, sort of run it through. What's it been like in the Bliss camp this season?
The same as usual. It's just good vibes. A lot of smack talk by Katie. A lot of heart attacks for Katie. I think that Chalet game, I'm pretty sure she might have died for a little bit there. We like to keep her on her toes. I think we like to make her struggle a little bit. But she's honestly such an amazing coach and person, and she manages us all. She's honestly one of the best people I've met in my entire life, and she's I don't want to like give her too much, you know, too many compliments because her head ego. But honestly, she is a major reason for this championship this season, and I would like to personally thank her, and I think we would all like to thank her as well.
Yeah, definitely. We were like really in the slump after Chalet, and then that pep talk just brought it back. We were like so pumped and energized. Like we just like forgot about the first 2 maps completely, and it was just like a fresh mental, ready to go.
Out of genuine curiosity, hang on, Panda. Out of genuine curiosity, what was part of the pep talk?
I don't think that's TOS, mate.
I don't think that's allowed.
Nah,
It was less of a pep talk and more of a threat.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, don't lose this or heads will roll.
Yeah, pretty much.
But look, ladies, you guys have had a very, very successful season. I mean, you're some of the veterans in the competition. The floor is yours. We'll leave it to you. Anyone you'd like to shout out, anyone you'd like to thank before you close the season out?
Yes, normally I write something, but this time I didn't because I was lazy. But I would just once again like to thank Oda for all the help throughout the season. Mans is an OCM player and he's still helping us out on his off time, and we really appreciate it. Thank you once again for Bliss for picking us up and supporting us amazingly with all the help that they've done, like all the amazing quality jerseys and hoodies. You guys have them, you know what they feel like.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're not bias casters here.
Where's your jumper? They're honestly just such an amazing org. And one day I'm hoping to go visit the HQ myself. Thank you to the XP admins, casters, staff, everyone behind the scenes. You guys are amazing. You make this happen every season. Thank you to everyone that support us in chat, all the boys that watch, all the fans. We appreciate you guys watching every week. We really do appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you for my team. Like you guys put in the work. Like we all show up, we run home, we take time off work, we swap our shifts, all that. We put in the commitment for it, and I'm very grateful to have the team that I have and the friends that I have. And honestly, bliss up, baby. That's all I got. Guys.
I mean, thanked pretty much everyone. But yeah, just mainly the team. Like everyone's doing a phenomenal job this season. Specifically Katie as well, my wife, amazing coach, and she's always been there to sub in for games when we need her and scrims, which is like she doesn't want to do it, but like God bless her. But yeah, that's basically it.
Look, I don't know if her ego needed all of that, but look, ladies, congratulations. Another great season for you both. And for Bliss, who, look, one of the most dominant esports orgs in Rainbow Six here in ANZ at the moment, which is nothing to sneeze at either. We'll let you head off and celebrate your rightful victory here in Season 8. But Cthulhu, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat, get an idea of what's going on for them. But look, we are going to be having another chat, of course. We're going to be getting the girls in from Big Brain Esports as well. So we'll throw it to a break. When we come back, we'll be having a chat with them as well. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We had a chat with the girls from Team Bliss. Now we're hitting the other side of the coin. We are joined by Cheesebender and Yoshi from Big Brain Esports. Ladies, welcome. An unfortunate loss, but you guys probably gave us one of our best grand finals we've had at the Women's League for a long time. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Our team did really well. Really proud of how we went. Yeah.
Run us through, because the first two maps were had quite a polarizing, result, given that you girls picked the theme park, then you went against the Bliss's pick of Chalet.
Yeah.
What was kind of the general game plan? Was theme park even part of the idea, or was it kind of almost half sort of forced?
No, theme park was definitely in our plan. But unfortunately, one of our team members, I'm not going to name names, but Buddha, she just ignored our phone calls.
On the team, but...
There was plans to be had, but yeah. You know.
May have misunderstood the time that we were starting, and
See.
Yes.
Oh dear.
So poor Berna was roped into that. So thank you so much, Berna.
But I mean, talk us through it. You guys, let's be honest, you got slapped around a bit on Theme Park. You then managed to bring it back and take a double overtime victory over Bliss on Chalet. I mean, what was said between the break? Was it just that fact that Buddha showed up and was there, and not to mention Chloe's performance? I mean, how did it all come together?
Chloe just went off. I don't know. She's a beast.
She got mad. She got mad. She was sick of the game.
Sick of us.
Fair enough. Look, I mean, going into the bank then, so after you girls won Chalet, which was already quite a gargantuan, effort and quite a solid win from you, going into the bank, how did the team feel? Because you still managed to put out quite a fair few quite decent rounds, but it was still relatively closely contested, wasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like we were okay with the third map, but I feel like unfortunately, like, schedules have been super hard to work around this season, just because we're all got a lot of things on Earl.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we had that time to sort of focus on that map a bit more later on, we would have done a lot better. But unfortunately, it's just commitments and stuff in the way. So
Understandable.
yeah.
I wouldn't know what that's like. It's just so easy being a caster. We just show up and talk a bunch of smack about the players and then walk. No, I'm kidding. It is genuinely impressive seeing what you guys put in season after season, showing up, giving it your absolute all, and to take a map away from Bliss in the way that you did. Honestly, it was some great siege to watch, and we're excited to see what Big Brain Esports do in the future. But for now, look, Season 8 is done. You guys claim the silver medal. We'll throw it over to you, Yoshi, Cheesebender. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out? The floor is yours.
For sure. So definitely like to thank all the other teams that competed in the league. It's been super fun this season. A big thank you to Bliss. You guys are awesome. A thank you to our coach, Webb, and all our players. Thank you to our subs, Berna, Seren, and Repel. And yeah, think anyone that's done scrims with us this season, thank you so much.
The little amount of scrims we actually did, yes.
Yeah, thank you to Mel for carrying us along. Good work, Mel. What a legend.
Like, if nothing else, yeah, you can take away the fact that what little work you did put in culminated in that Chalet victory. You got yourselves to the grand finals. You look good doing it too. But ladies, we'll let you head off. We'll let you go and commiserate that second place matchup. But Cthulhu, what a way to close out the season here. We've got one match remaining. That one is going to be tomorrow night as well, the third and fourth place matchup. Unfortunately, we're pre-booked, so we can't make it. But look, if it's anything like tonight, it's going to be an absolute heater.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the third place matchup is going to be an absolute heater, and I'm definitely quite keen to at least rewatch it after all of the other commitments are all done. But yeah, I'm absolutely keen to see who will be able to take the third place, and we'll be able to, wrap up our season as well. But as it stands, yeah, look, Bliss are our champions this season.
Yeah, look, they definitely put in the effort. They put in the hard yards, and it just goes to show where that effort can lead, of course, going into the future seasons. It's all about the work that you put in. In fact, it's just about as much as important what goes in before you get into the server as to what actually goes in the server itself. So it's good to see that comes together for Team Bliss here in Season 8. And there you go on your screen again. Champions here in the Unstoppable Women's League. But Cthulhu, for the most part, we are done and dusted with only one match remaining in this season. Of course, Radical Rebels taking on the Viking Army tomorrow night. We do, however, have to shout out our sponsors. Without them, none of this would be possible. I mean, you're talking Zowie, Computer Alliance, Ubisoft, and Popsugar, presenting partner that they are, has been a great backer for us, and we know that there's exciting stuff coming alongside them going into the next season, of course. But I mean, you couldn't have asked for much more, could you?
Oh, absolutely. Look, it's been an absolutely banger of a grand final that I genuinely enjoyed. It was a good fun to watch, a good fun to see, that we finally starting to have teams that can contest those top positions, and that sort of, I suppose you could call it the skill gap, but it's certainly starting to feel a whole lot smaller. But as well as that, I mean, now comes, after this sort of interview, now comes the question of, say, for Big Brain Esports, say, certain scheduling opens up, they can put a whole lot more time in. How much scarier can they get? Because, I mean, judging at least off the back of this grand final, they could be absolutely the next contestant for even maybe the first place.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much changes between seasons, not to mention the game itself. So it's going to be exciting. Yeah, come Season 9, just how the landscape looks here in the XP Women's League. But Cthulhu, we're done for the evening. Tomorrow night, third, fourth place match. Make sure you're here to check it out. I believe we've got some guest casters coming in to take care of that one. But for myself, Cthulhu, we are done for this season. And Nuttery and Alex behind the scenes as well. Until Season 9, have a good night. We'll see you then.
We know that for each second in esports, you are dedicated to winning. Over a decade, XL Series has evolved alongside with gamers. We strive to make every product detail perfect so that you can perform at your best. We are honored to stand with you, the pro gamer who keeps fighting to win in esports. Elevate your skill and maximize your potential with the ultimate gaming monitor. Zowie. Strive for perfection. Focus on winning.
Was hit hard. Here, live. Server room, identify perimeter breach. Over.
Where you go? Where you go?
Withdraw your men. Say again, Grim. I'm going in.
Micro recon drones. Cute.
You forgot this. The data key on your jugular.
You were saying?
What was on that server? QCR shipment records. Question is, who wants eyes on it? And why?
We know that for each second in esports, you are dedicated to winning. We share the same spirit with you, focusing on every detail in order to achieve perfection. Over a decade, XL Series has evolved alongside with gamers. To become your trusted partner, we strive to make every product detail perfect so that you can perform at your best. From one tournament to another, from winning a championship to the next one, we stand alongside with you.
Esports means everything to me. It's given me a comfortable place where I can kind of be myself, and that's been really important to me over the years.
电子竞技对我的意义就是我从小的梦想和一直坚持不懈的一个方向。
Saya dapat berkompetisi, menjadi representatif negara, dan mencoba mengharumkan nama bangsa.
它过去是我的梦想，我要证明自己，我自己是办得到的。
Winning the championship means a lot to me, especially when I've played the best feeling in life.
저는 그렇게 이제 어떻게 보면 큰 대회에 나가서 우승을 하는 게 꿈이었긴 했는데 그게 진짜 현실로 이루어지니까 그때 어떻게 보면 온몸의 전율이
Winning a tournament is the most amazing thing. My first ever LAN that I won, I swear I couldn't shake that feeling of excitement and hype.
When I win a tournament, it just feels like a lot of weight is taken off my shoulders.
ゾイの印象的な点は、競技シーンにすごく着目しているというところですかね。
Zowie is made for gamers. If given a choice, I would only use Zowie monitors and tournaments.
สิ่งที่ผมประทับใจเลยคงเป็นในเรื่องของคุณภาพครับความคงทนของมันความเฉียบคมผมเชื่อว่าใครได้ลองใช้เนี่ยจะรู้สึกถึงเหมือนกันหมด
تدعم اللاعب المحترف بشكل كبير بحيث السموث واللعب الجميل.
I can't thank Zowie enough for giving us the resources that others may not have.
조이기어가 이제 11주년이 됐는데 모두 축하드립니다.
希望各位可以继续保持你们品牌的核心价值，然后也期待你们可以推出更多不同的产品。
ในความเป็นโซวี่ในแบบของผมนะครับสำหรับผมแล้วโซวี่ไม่จำเป็นต้องพูดอะไรเยอะครับคุณภาพของเขาคือคำตอบครับ
Thank you for listening to us all these years.
非常好，然后非常适合我们设计类游戏。
Terima kasih Zowie sudah menghasilkan produk-produk terbaik untuk kita para gamer.
はい、いつも愛用させていただいております。
At Zowie, we are dedicated to deliver the best gaming monitor to pro players. We are always your companion. We are honored to stand with you, the pro gamer who keeps fighting to win in esports. Elevate your skill and maximize your potential with the ultimate gaming monitor. Zowie, strive for perfection. Focus on winning.
It's a time for everything. Ready for war? Yeah. It's a time for war. Back for more. I'm ready. It's a time for war.
faint buzz is a warning. It may be the last thing you hear. But I'm the last thing you'll see.
We know that for each second in esports, you are dedicated to winning. Over a decade, XL Series has evolved alongside with gamers. We strive to